Hello.
I don't know if you see us. Hello?
Hello. Can you see us? If you can see us, type something.
Yes.
Type hello.
No one is typing. I think no one can see us.
Uh-oh. That's kind of scary.
Kirsty's gonna be on and off. That's sad.
Yeah, that was sad. We can indeed.
Yay! So, good evening, guys, and welcome to this special episode of Blood on the Thames, in which we will air episode 0. So, a little bit of background here. Again, for those with extreme OCD that were wondering why do we have 39 episodes, actually we had 40. So our first episode we had a technical issue and we couldn't record it on Twitch and then export it to other platforms like YouTube or have a podcast. But someone managed to give Titus a file for episode 0. Someone had recorded it or found a recording. Regardless of how it happened, that was intended to be episode 1. But with the following week, since we wanted to have a little bit of continuity for everything that was going to be uploaded in the YouTube as well, we wanted to play it again, episode 1, and we considered this dark episode. No one has seen episode 0. So hello, Phil is already in chat as well as Mitch. This is right now your time to ask any and all questions for the Q&A. Stop looking at me like that. In which we can now answer your questions, have a little chat, and then we will stay in chat, or at least I know I will, and Peter will too. For commenting episode 1 and how different things have been since the beginning. Okay.
And this is quite an exciting time because it's just me and Carlos. We are without Tech Ghoul.
Yeah.
For those of you who ever watched the old Flash Gordon movie, I have that kind of flying blind on a rocket cycle quote running through my head.
Well, we were lucky that Dylan managed to set it all up, and then Mitch helped me out with the tech and stuff. But the tech ghouls today are us. So if something goes wrong, it's Mitch's fault.
Yeah. Mitch. So yeah, before we air the episode, this is sort of a time where if people have last questions or things they want to discuss about the Chronicle, we can do that with you right here now. Did you all tick the box?
Yes.
Kirsty.
Thank you, Kirsty. And I checked with Dylan yesterday, and we did tick the box. I hope it did not untick.
I like the fact that Mitch is saying that's not fair. Like, as if anything has changed.
I mean, it's his fault. Oh, but we did not do an audio test. So, Peter, what did you have for breakfast?
So, for breakfast, I had some porridge with some honey and also a nice cup of coffee.
See, came on chat. People were asking, what did I have for breakfast?
Did you have breakfast?
My bowl of cereal at 2 p.m. counts as breakfast. Yeah, nom. Important question incoming from cricket.
Or maybe cricket was saying that was an important
question.
Oh,
yes, I believe so.
We shall see.
I ran out of English. It's
no this.
No, sorry, señor. English no bueno. My English no very good looking. So, if you have any questions from chat, so on a scale from 1 to 10, how much did you want to diabolize Vedman?
So, on a scale of... I guess it depends who you're asking. On a scale of 1 to 10, Simon really, really wanted to diabolize Vedmund, and I would say about a 10. Me as a player, knowing the rules for diablerie and my chances for success, I would put that score maybe a little bit lower, because for those of you who don't know, when you diabolize someone, you have to make a series of checks just to even get the chance to do it, which last over a scene, and they're based on the blood potency of the person you're diabolizing, which basically means I have to make lots of checks with difficulty 3, coming off like Benjamin's strength or something awful. So and in a crazy world where I succeeded in that, I automatically lose a point of humanity.
Again.
And I'm already on humanity 5 at this point in the game. And then I make a roll, which obviously I don't know, because I don't know what the figures actually are. But I think my dice pool was something like 4 or 5 dice, and his dice pool will be something like 8, 9, 10 dice,
Yeah, something
like that.
ridiculous.
And for every margin I lost that roll by, I would lose another point of humanity.
And if you lose all 4.
And if I lose all 4, then I would become an SPC controlled by Titus.
We would have had an Edmund too.
We would have had Edmund too. Yeah.
So
so me as a player, you know, I have mixed feelings. Simon, 10.
okay. So Cedar joined us in chat, and I have to say we had something today coming in the mail.
Oh.
So a very special thank you to her for this amazing, wonderful Moses holographic background stickers. I am already asking if my employers will allow me to put one sticker in my laptop. I hope they say yes, but knowing who I work for, I doubt it. So, okay, chat is going crazy. Have you read any questions?
Well, I was busy being excited about the ad.
Okay. Well, I was busy being excited about the stickers. Yes, they are shiny. Very, very shiny.
So one thing that I would say as well is that Carlos and I have now actually watched the VOD of episode 39. So that means that we've had a chance to appreciate just how lovely everyone was. So thank you for all of your generosity and also for just being generally lovely people in the chat and for all your soap hijinks. Was it episode 38 where it got filthy? I don't know.
Oh, yes.
There was some shocking filth.
Yes.
Which I was
something
not expecting.
About something like hearing the popping in the microphone and somebody else, for some reason, are looking at you saying the connotations in German of that.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then,
it's quite educational.
It got weird.
Yeah,
it got weird.
It did.
But it's okay. It's okay. We'll forgive you. Yes, it got real nasty.
It did get real nasty.
Got real nasty.
It did. It was. I mean, I don't know what my mum would think. Luckily, she'll never see it.
Yeah, I think there was a question at the end of episode 39 that no one addressed, and it was how many. Yeah, popping off to the shop. That was what were the number of stains for delivering Katya? I don't know. I would assume some, and I have no idea. I mean, Katya. Like, Moses is not going to be doing any of the dirty job, the dirty work himself. He's going to be just grabbing unconscious torpor state Katya and delivering her, which will definitely, it's an act in and of itself, stain-worthy. I have no idea how many.
I mean, I guess it depends. You're not killing her. I don't think you can describe Katya as innocent. So that means...
Yeah, that's the thing.
You know,
Katya's not entirely innocent, but she was my coterie mate, and we were friends, and then it became complicated.
Okay,
so,
I see a
Mitch,
question.
Do you regret playing Benjamin and Moses at all? Knowing how the Chronicle went, would you make different characters?
Ooh.
I would have made Moses more of a cleaner type of guy. Same attitude, same stuff, but a little bit more competent on the let's sort issues, because I like the direction it took, that Moses started being the guy who would solve problems. But I mean, had he had a couple skills or backgrounds or something that would give him the tools to be a little bit more competent, would have been nice.
Okay, so you keep track on those questions while there's more coming up. So no, I'm quite happy with how Benjamin turned out and how I had him and his sheet and everything. So no, I think I'm quite happy. I don't think there was ever a point where I thought, oh, I really wish I'd been someone else or anything like that.
Did you write first Simon or Benjamin?
Yeah, so the question from here is quite an interesting one, because it says, which personality did you write first? And the kind of defining feature of Simon in some ways is his lack of personality of his own. But yes, so Simon came first, but Benjamin was, if you like, the personality that I fleshed out first.
Did you have backup characters? Yes.
Yeah, loads.
Yes, loads. And actually, I had a couple of my favorite ones. One is the character I am actually going to be able to play in Blood on the Thames. So that was my strongest candidate for a backup character. So when you see my character in Blood on the Thames, you would know, oh, that's the kind of person Carlos wanted to play. And there is still yet another backup character. So
yeah, Carlos and I kind of went through the book, through all the clans, creating character cons. So we had loads, and it was good fun, but also led to us having to have a rule when we had to put the book away after 10 o'clock to stop us staying up late.
Yeah, we have a house rule for that.
It's a house rule. There is a Mitch sub-clause, but we won't go into that now. So there's a question: how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck would diabolise Edmund? I would say a lot.
All
of
wood.
All the wood.
There was a. What's your favorite midnight snack?
Kebab?
Lasagna or something, whatever is in the freezer.
I mean, almost anything.
I can.
It's midnight.
Yeah, it's midnight. Was killing Jim different from killing Katya? And yes, you killed them. I did not kill them. Okay, they are very different. The death of Jim for Moses, in Moses' perspective, is something that he brought on to himself, despite all the advice and help that the Coterie tried to give him. That's what Moses thinks. So him delivering Jim was avoiding further collateral damage. The death of Katya, it's pretty much on Moses' hands. He would feel very different about that one because he would be trading a life for another. It's like, I value Lucius's life so much higher than yours that I'm willing to end your own life on it. Or at least, if not end it, put you under the torturous, eternal struggle of torture. I don't know.
So there's a question about, could I just basically explain what Simon's derangement was? And yes, I can, because the game's ended. So Simon's derangement was that he thought he was Benjamin Green. That was it. So so essentially the kind of the backstory such that goes is obviously Edmund has had a derangement where he couldn't feel anything unless he was doing horrible things to people via Shemisk blood, or alternatively, if there were certain arts that would create feeling in him. Simon was trying to produce art like that for Edmund, and there was an artist, Benjamin Green, who was having that effect. Simon was trying to emulate his art, and he stalked Benjamin for quite a long time, trying to copy what he did, trying to read the books he read, watch what he, becoming more and more like him. And it wasn't good enough, and it kept failing. And in the end, he started trying to get it by taking his blood, and that ultimately ended up in diablerie and the creation of a delusion where he actually was Benjamin Green. His desire was so much that it became him.
Okay.
So yeah, that's essentially how it was.
Regarding the question about the backup characters, I think Phil already answered in chat that he didn't have a backup character in mind. He had several ideas. And my new character does not know anyone named Moses, sadly. So that's going to be tough for him. Oh, yeah, and there's people chatting on the chat, so it's okay.
Yeah, Simon is super creepy. And the thing about Simon that's worth mentioning is that by the time we meet him in the game, he hasn't really got much memory of who he was. So when he's not under his delusion, so when he's not being Benjamin, he very rapidly starts to look for someone else to start obsessing over. So in this case, those of you probably noticed, because there was a bit at the end of the game where his normal delusion was broken by Anatoly and Malkav for a while, and obviously Benjamin kind of giving up for a bit. And so in that point, until Benjamin reasserted himself as a delusion, Simon was fixating on Anatoly, and that would have been the next pathway that he was on.
Next question. Are you sick of Jaffa cakes? Never.
No. No.
Next question.
Bring them on.
Yeah, there's Phil saying that he's not. So make saying that you're playing. Good job. See?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a. I think it was a complicated character for you to play.
Yeah, well, it's one of the things that I wanted, because I knew that it was going to be a long chronicle, was a character that there was lots to kind of play with and get your teeth into. Yeah.
So there's something here from Kirsty.
Oh, yes.
Blood on the Thames is in the same universe as Blood on the Thames, right? You're
yes. Right. Ding.
And as a follow-up to that, how high are the chances of maybe seeing Simon and or Anatoly in that chronicle?
Well, there's a question, which of course is a bit of a spoiler question, isn't it? I would say the chances are fairly slim, but don't rule anything out. However, I would say the chances of somebody who was in Blood on the Thames appearing, or at the very least being referenced, are quite good.
So you got it. You heard it here.
I'm kind of being flirty rather than informative. But yeah.
Some people have to say that Miss Unreason says that she will miss Benjamin more than she will miss Simon.
Yeah, well, that's fair. Benjamin, I was kind of creeped out, actually. There were various people going, yeah, you go Simon at points. And I was thinking, he's awful. Wow. But yeah, I thought Benjamin was much more likeable. And one of the fun things, actually, was playing someone with high humanity who doesn't have high humanity. You know, but it's just an act. It's just a delusion. And that was kind of fun.
So there is someone saying, oh, what was it? Oh, yeah. Did you give the dice to Titus?
Yes.
Yes, it was given. Can you do a Plucky Jake impersonation?
Is that bloody Titus?
Yes, it is.
Oh, man. Maybe I did. Oh, I don't know. Oh, God. All right. I'll have a go. It'll be awful, though. Fuck you, Moses.
Why that?
I was trying to think of what he said, you know.
Yeah, he said that a lot.
Yeah.
Someone wants to hear your dolphin sounds again. Okay, what time period is Blood on the Thames going to be set? I think we're starting...
So we're starting in 2001.
Oh my god, the chat's going crazy.
Towards the end of the year. But we will be moving... Well, I won't say too much, but there is going to be a bit of time shifting.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god, the chat is moving.
So we're going to start at a relatively similar point that Blood on the Thames ended.
Yeah, it's around the year 2001.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Oh, I think they... Good. Thank you, chat. I'm glad you approve.
I'm impressed. How quickly are you going to kill the characters submitted by Patreons?
Well, that's a good question. So a few of you have already submitted character names and ideas. Some of those have already been kind of blocked in, so I know who they are. And I think one of them has already appeared in a prelude, and they didn't die. So far no one. But yeah, I mean, of course, some of them are going to die at some point.
Are there going to be dolphins in Blood of the Thames? I love these questions.
I'm not planning for there to be lots of dolphins. Of course, if somebody's like, I'm a patron, and the name of my character is like Flipper or whatever, then maybe there will be a dolphin.
How many different accents can you do, Peter? I love how you are taking the piss on Peter.
That is a question. So Francis has asked that question. That is an answer that is evolving because I'm working on my accents at the moment. The answer is less than I'd like to be able to. And obviously some of those accents are going to... I'm king of vague. Some of those accents are going to probably be more along the pantomime end of accents rather than good. But I would say, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 at the moment.
That's solid. I can only do one English accent and it's this.
Yeah, but you can also do a whole bunch of other...
Oh yeah, but all the accents I can do are in
Phil
Spanish.
Phil me?
No, yeah, Phil loves you.
Oh, thank you, Phil.
But the accents I can do are all in Spanish. So
yeah, but you can do a variety of like...
Oh yeah.
You can do like Mexican,
Argentinian, Mexican, Colombian, Ecuadorian, but no one will find no one will recognize it.
No, but you'll know.
Yeah, only I will know.
We'll just be there and all sound the same to me. Like.
Yes, they will sound the same to you. So, thus, First Flight, the Second Inquisition exist in the Blood on the Thames canon?
Well, that's a very good question. One to which the answer will be revealed in Blood on the Thames.
Sí, señor Carlos. Sí, señor Phil. Yo también te quiero. That means I love you too. Just you just wrote it down.
I have to sacrifice my Patreon thing for a character with a dolphin. If you want to do that, I will put in a dolphin. If that's what you want to do.
Vampires at SeaWorld was.
Yeah, the Vampires at SeaWorld adventure. Yeah, they'll be like the worst gangrel ever.
Or Nosferatu, you never know.
Like, he's under attack. He's like, save me, and it flops along the ground. Yeah. This is where the next question will be like, is Tidus City in Blood on the Thames world? And it'll be like, yeah, okay. And then there's like, no, it's not. It's not. Sorry.
Actually, someone just wrote the sea gangrel. There was in one of the many source books on 3rd edition and previous editions was called Blood Deemed Tides. And I had it. I had a physical copy. I bought it in the United States before I went back to Venezuela. And yes, the Mariner Gangrel, Kirsty, they had for every single game on the main White Wolf line, Vampire, Wraith, Werewolf, they had the Mariner Gangrel. And what they did was just give an explanation of how you could use the different levels of protein and little changes. They would have like a feeling of the new disciplines. Like if you have protein 1 instead of having eyes of the beast, it would be something like sonar, like echolocation. Very efficient underwater, very useless above water. And they were like the kind of gangrels that would get like this fishman sort of traits whenever they frenzied. So
sorry, I'm seeing Mitch asking if he can play Junker in Blood on the Thames as a guest.
No.
And he's saying that he will wear a pot head and fake vampire teeth. I mean, you can maybe be a vampire who thinks he's a superhero called Junker.
Good Malkavian.
You could be someone who's rationalized your vampiric abilities as being a superhero. Maybe. I don't know. I feel like a lot of bits would have to be involved.
So someone asks, when is Foggy going to be a Justicar? He's already a Justicar in Dog Heaven. Oh, because he was a Nosferatu ghoul, so he impersonated a dog to go into Dog Heaven because he's a fox, and Fox Heaven is not as great as Dog Heaven, I guess. Foggy is Inner Circle. Yes, he is. What do you mean he's not?
It's a tough time, tough realizations or
Come
revelations.
on,
oh, he's Inner Circle.
Yes, he's Inner Circle. He's not Justicar.
Yeah.
He's above. So we all know the only true superhero is the radioactive Shiv.
That's an in-joke which is too dark to go into now.
I have no idea what's going on.
All ghouls go to heaven. I'd like to think so.
All ghouls go to heaven? Yeah. I mean, we had Amelia and...
No, Amelia's not dead.
Foggy. None of them are dead.
No. See, Amelia and Foggy are still alive, so it's all right.
Yeah.
Spoilers, by the way, if anyone's not yet watched.
Yeah. We're 20 minutes in, and everybody's going like, yeah, sure. Yes, Sass. Foggy's death was one of the things that was like really like Moses did not have another family until the very end, and he was trying to get Benji to beat G. His new guard dog. Would you put Kevin in to please Birdie? Who's Kevin?
Yeah, who is Kevin?
Who's Kevin?
Who's Kevin?
I'm sure there are plenty. I try to understand.
Tell us about Kevin.
Who's Kevin? Yes, Foggy's death was sudden, unexpected, and Amelia's death was also horrifying.
Yeah, awful.
Benji, not Bengus. Yeah.
I do have something I wondered about. I have a question, which is that there was a point when Danielle called Benjamin to say, "Where's Amelia? I need to find her." And I said, "She's at the museum," and that was that.
That was it. And
I was like, what's happened?
Kevin is a character from the Discord Chronicle. That's the thing. We have no access to the Discord.
Yeah.
So everybody loves Kevin, apparently.
Everybody loves Kevin.
One of the SPCs in the game that Amis is running for us in the Discord.
Okay, so I guess what I would say is if you get in contact with me and tell me a bit about Kevin, we can negotiate. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was your favorite 3 SPCs? Go. Your favorite 3
Okay, so my favourite 3 SPCs were probably Edmund, Fagin, and I don't know. I mean, maybe Sabine.
Okay. For me, my favorite SPCs were Mrs. Minovsky,
Oh dang! I forgot.
Mrs. Minovsky, Edmund, and Lucy. I think.
Oh, Lucy.
I think,
Oh, you see, this is quite a hard. There are a lot of good SPCs out there.
Yeah.
Um,
Which SPC smelled the worst? Probably Thimble.
oh yeah, Thimble stunk. I mean, and Thimble was a great SPC too.
Yes.
And I'm glad that in some ways he never came back.
So.
But he was great.
Oh, here. Oh, and Phil's top 3 SPCs are Plucky Jake, Alicia, and Constable Jacqueline. And of course, oh, and Miss on Reason saying it's Edmund, one of her 3. She just says, "Oh, Edmund." I think it's just like
No, maybe
like a sigh.
You don't think it's like, oh, Ed.
But yeah, the correct answers are Foggy, Fagin, and Ben G. Lane. Come on, work with me here. Foggy, Fagin, and Ben.
I'm pretty sure if this was a democracy, it would be Ben. Just saying, that's the thing.
What Peter said. I think it's regarding the whole Edmund kind of thing. Yeah, I think Edmund was a good SPC because he brought, like, people were very clear on who he was, and he was still most wonderful man.
I think, you know,
Lucy wins
so
out,
one of the
definitely.
things that I also really liked was, I mean, as in that I liked was that he was so defined and like his voice was so distinct.
Yes.
That after the Diablerie had failed for him, it was instantly apparent it wasn't him just when he spoke.
Yes, the moment, yeah.
You know, the moment you heard his voice, which obviously is credit to Titus on that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think also for me, obviously he was my side, but it just felt like such a nuanced relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked how messed up Edmund was, that he could be kind of terrifying but also kind of broken at the same time. I thought it was excellent.
Yeah.
Would I have preferred it if he didn't get taken over? Yes. Oh, hell yes.
Yes. I think an Edmund who had diablerized Vemund and had felt alive, or that he could feel for a while after he had the rush of the Diablerie, with the potential of vicissitude. He was already the Blood Eagle killer, so
yeah,
it makes for a very scary kind of SPC.
There was a whole setup where he was kind of going to go after the Sabbats who were attacking him, and he'd activated Simon to help him do it. So a book where, you know, Edmund and Simon were off doing stuff against the Sabbat would have been lots of fun. Having said that, you know, it went in a very different direction, and in some ways, arguably, was better for Benjamin in the long run.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't have been trying to get away from Edmund, whereas he was from Bedmund. Yeah. Yeah, Titus has said, in case anyone didn't catch it in chat, that he did roll. The question was, did he roll for the Diablerie? And he did.
He rolls for everything.
We heard the clatter of dice.
He rolls for everything. He rolls for combats, or for things that happen on the outside. If he knows the timescales of other SPCs doing other activities, then when he's preparing the sessions, he uses dice to decide some of the matters, and then writes on top of that. So it's a very, like, it was so hard. I wish he had rolled better for it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, if even Edmund can fail Diablerie, that's why it's probably good that Simon will try it, because that's when the real things are.
So what was the thing in the Warrens? Yeah, it was a Niktuku. For those of you who do not know what a Niktuku is,
it's a night cuckoo.
It's a yeah. Well, I think we'll talk a little bit more of them, and this is me plugging in Kindred Academy. On Kindred Academy, the Nosferatu.
Oh, I like what you did there.
Yeah, on the
nice.
Kindred Academy we discuss it. So if you don't know what the Niktuku is, it's just, let's call it a very vindictive branch of the Nosferatu. It's a little bit, I don't go into much detail, but this particular figure that Benjamin sees on his premonition that was triggered by those Messy
Yeah,
Criticals,
yeah.
was a Niktoku that was in the Warrens. So the first Nosferatu, he would, and if he saw a Nosferatu, he would definitely go and kill it, and that's why he tries to kill Moses in Ben's vision.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yes, they are scary. I mean, we're talking about Nosferatu who hunt other Nosferatu for fun. Well, not fun, for a living. So, yeah. Yes, Phil. Guys, watch Kindred Academy, okay?
It's educational and it's good for you.
Well, we're getting close to the moment in which we have to hit play, so you can actually watch episode 0 of this. So maybe one or two questions?
Yeah, so we'll be joining you in chat for episode 0. But if there's anything you want to ask, did you expect this kind of ending for your characters?
I think yes and no. I was expecting Moses to be succeeding at a cost. So, for example, delivering Katya is a big cost. Expending all of his boons and the boons of the coterie into getting rid of the alderman, or at least Pluck take interested in considering it. Having a way of trying to find someone to help Lucy, looking to keep living in the city as a part of it, was somewhat of the ending that I expected was very fitting. And him being involved with Alice, I mean, he got the girl at the end. What could you expect? Like, my character, like me and Moses, had never thought that could happen. That they were like an old flame, and that's it. They were friends. So it was very interesting, and I was very pleased with it. How about you?
Yeah, I don't know if I knew. I thought actually his ending, Benjamin's ending, was much worse in the beginning of the game, because I thought at some point it would come out that he was a Diablerist. And at some point, very angry Toreador were going to come and do terrible things to him. And then and fairly early on in the game, I just thought, this was a road that was going to end in a bad place.
Yeah.
So actually, I think it was a really lovely ending for Benjamin, and it felt very nice.
I mean, after the period of time he lived there in London and everything that he went through, just making peace with it and moving on.
Yeah, I was very
with Danielle and Fagin as well.
Yes.
I was telling Peter, 3 Malkavian, Anatoly, Benjamin, Danielle, and a cat, with poor La Sombra Lucita. That woman, that's why she's angry all the time. Not because of Moncada or...
the chance of a frenzy just grows higher every day,
right? Absolutely.
Final
questions. Did Blood on the Severn take place in the same universe? Yes, Lane, it's the same universe. I think I at some point mentioned, do mentions in Blood on the Severn. It is the same chronicle, but and the reference against London is that London is a big enclave of the Camarilla that's having issues and trouble, either with a problem with the Sabbat, or had problems with the Sabbat and the Anarchs and the Thin Bloods, because I think we played in 2008. And it is the same place. It's the same universe.
So I know we said last question, but there was something I was going to say, and Mitch's question ties into it, which he's asked if I can give a little taster for Blood on the Thameses. So what I do want to say is that we're looking for the first session of Blood on the Thameses to be Monday the 7th of October. And in the week before that, we will start releasing things like who the new players are, who the new characters are, and various information about that on the run-up. Something I will say, though, is just to kind of whet your appetite a little bit, is that Blood on the Thameses will have different chronicle tenets to Blood on the Thames. Because Blood on the Thames ran off the humanist chronicle tenets, so you couldn't kill.
Unless it was in self-defense.
Unless in self-defense. You can't...
rape or torture.
And you can't harm the innocent. And I won't say what they are yet, because we'll go over them in the thing, but though we do not have humanist tenets in Blood on the Thameses, murder is much more A-OK. I'll say that for now. Hey, yeah, woo! So, yes.
Yeah, and those chronicle tenets are interesting, because they will... That would be an example, as we discussed in Kindred Academy episode 2, setting the stage.
Yeah,
look at me plugging stuff.
I know. See you doing a sterling job.
It'll be when you go over the chronicle tenets and you read them well, you go like, okay, I understand how they can shape the story and how they can shape the type of game you want to play. So that's very interesting.
So these are going to play more along the idea of things like duty and loyalty, and also the beast. And I'll say no more than that.
Yeah. Sorry, but Mitch will not get any guilt-free diablerie. The Chronicle tenets would set the things like the morals of the story, but you still get stains for embracing people, ghouling people, going against your convictions, and you automatically lose humanity whenever you diablerize. Yeah. So those things are part of the core of the game.
Yeah. Any supernatural acts that are going to damage the soul of another person will earn you stains. Mm-hmm. But depending on the campaign, things like killing and stuff like that don't necessarily.
Yeah, everything will be all right for them.
Yeah.
So that being said, thank you very much. We will be in chat. Fourth tenant, that is diablerie is okay. That'll still get you one less humanity point.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes. Amos had a quick question about who's doing the art.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I missed that.
He said who's doing the character art. Because we have 2 artists involved in Blood on the Thames. Can I say?
Yeah.
Okay. So and both of them are disaster ghouls, which is really, because obviously one of the things that's happened over Blood on the Thames is we've had lots of people doing amazing art, and in some cases we said actually we like that so much we'd like to commission people to do art for the show.
Yep.
So Alicia is doing things like our logos and some other really cool bits and bobs with crests and other stuff, which you will see coming out soon. And Cedar is going to be doing the character portraits.
Thank you.
So we're really excited to start sharing stuff with you that they're doing. It's going to be amazing. 7th of October. See you there.
So we're going to jump straight into episode 0. I hope I don't mess up any of the tech.
All the tech goals are like. Grrr.
Oh yes, Oblivion is bad stuff. Oh yeah, there's still stuff like Potence 3, Brutal Feed.
Yeah.
If you do like a mutilation killing by feeding someone dry in a matter of seconds, that is also stain worthy.
Sometimes.
Some levels of Dominate, like Dominate 5, when you do crazy stuff. So those are still there. So cross your fingers and hope that Carlos doesn't mess it up.
Mitch's like, all you got to do is click one button. You can do it. I believe in you. We shall see.
This is episode 0. Enjoy.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this, the first pre-stream session of Blood on the Thames, a Vampire the Masquerade chronicle set in London, England. Now, since all of you are on level footing in terms of what you know and the situations that led up to this point, we are taking into account your preludes and your embraces and the amount of time that you would have remained in your circumstances or situations up until this point. And privately, you would have spoken to your sires and deduced at what point you were going to be introduced to the prince. The prince had been notified of your existence, and at his convenience, you would be brought before him to be accounted, to be recognized, or to be thrown out or destroyed at his whim. Your sires, in various degrees of tact, made this abundantly clear to you. This is not merely going and introducing yourself. This is a life or death meeting. And not one of the people that you are dealing with, your sires or non-sires, your representatives, have skirted around this fact. So, however you have managed to go there, whatever, whether you've gone by your own car or whether you've taken a public transport or whether or not you are getting a lift in some of your cases, you are all, around about the same time, making your way towards a designated meeting spot to encounter the prince for the first time. Now, as is the case for one of you, you are required to go with Alice, who has come to pick you up in a tinted window truck in order to take you there. Fussing around you as normal. It's become apparent that this is as much of a concern for her as it is for you. Edmund St. Clair is taking you there directly. Your sire is not going with you. However, he is sending you in the company of your ghoul. You are forced to make your way there alone. But it is stressed upon you that if you are tardy, the sheriff has, or the constable, has been notified of your appearance, your name, and any other details, and it has been stressed that if you do not account for yourself today, you will be hunted and killed. So, with all this in mind, you will make your way towards the area of Hyde Park, or more specifically, a house situated on the southeast corner of Hyde Park, facing south towards the Wellington Arch. This house might be known to some of you. It is the Apsley House, which was once resided in by the Dukes of Wellington. Very historic house, kept pristine, and is now serving the public as a museum of sorts, filled with different items speaking as to the first Duke's career, pictures, paintings, and all manner of other things. The artwork within and the decor are as authentic as people can make them. There is a point of pride that this place is kept as neoclassical as they can. And when you arrive there, there are very few pedestrians around. There's a few people going in and out of Hyde Park, but one of the other warnings you are all given is to, for the time being, steer clear of Hyde Park. There's no explanation given, you are just directed not to. When you pull up in various orders throughout at your arrival, you make your way in through the front entrance, and the person that's there, instead of stopping you and asking for an admission or asking your business, just waves you through. And you end up stepping past what looks to be a red kind of barrier served for the public so that people can't step into an area which you notice is designated for the use of the 9th Duke of Wellington, who currently serves in government. You step beyond this into a small room which is ornately designed, one at a time. First, Moses, then Katia, then Benjamin, and then Jim. One at a time, spaced out. And in this room there is an individual who looks to be about his 40s or 50s. And when he comes in, he doesn't say much, he just gives you a nod and just asks you politely, just wait a minute. We'll see to you in a moment. And then he steps out. And the minutes go, and the minutes go. And then it comes to the point where you are scheduled to meet with the prince, and no one comes for you. And you are, for all intents and purposes, left alone in this room. This room that's filled with archaic art depicting Wellington and various other individuals throughout history that's, as far as you can tell, certainly you, Benjamin, they are authentic. Mm-hmm. The wall is covered in a kind of salmonly red wallpaper. The carpet underneath is plush and well tended to. The doors themselves are white and gold, and everything here looks pristine. And certainly for some of you, this is a setting that you are not accustomed to being into. This is very high class environment. Describe yourselves.
Okay, so I look to be a Caucasian male in his early 40s. He's dressed quite smartly in a suit. It's one of those Mandarin collar suits with a white Mandarin collar shirt. Although his suit is very smart, his hair is slightly unruly and curly on top. He's pale, as you might expect, but certainly on the paler side. Even for a kindred, and the only other feature I suppose about him is that he's got quite large brown eyes, but otherwise he's fairly unremarkable looking and probably looks a little bit nervous.
On the other side, I'm pretty much very remarkably bad looking. I am on the side dressed very like thin, gaunt, long arms. Covering himself with a beanie. Nice clothes. Actually, very, very nice clothes. Well kept, tailored, but not so that he looks like a chimpanzee on a tuxedo. You know, it's like appropriately smart. If you look nervous, then I look like a train wreck. I am on a corner, quite literally, not taking my eyes out of my hands.
Wait, so when you say you're not very nice looking, how does that manifest?
Okay, he has big eyes. And when I say big eyes, I mean huge eyes, like unsettlingly huge eyes. His skin is not so much pale as ashen gray, and it's very dark around his eyes, so he looks like, constant bags on his eyes. His mouth is full of very sharp teeth, and he has like a long and pointy head, like, elongated, so it looks like way too many teeth for such a small jaw. You cannot see much of his hair or the rest of his head, and his hands are knotty and like bone and sinew, with very, very tight leathery skin.
Thank you.
Actually, I put on my gloves.
I am sitting, I suppose, evenly spaced from all three of you, so we've got a nice equal ratio between each of us. I'm sitting kind of quite self-contained, quite neat, quite still, but I have a slight smile. I don't. If I am extremely nervous, I'm not displaying that, but I don't look. I'm not like lounging there like this is the day at the park. No, I look like I'm very kind of alert and attentive, but still kind of presenting a small smile. I am quite tall, and I cut kind of. On first kind of contact, I cut quite an androgynous figure, say tall, quite square shoulders, and short but like very thick wavy black hair. Kind of slightly tanned skin. Obviously some of the colour has been lost from the embrace. But kind of quite a pointed gaze. But other than that, sitting there neatly dressed in a very plain fitted black turtleneck top, and some smart tan kind of chino style trousers, and some kind of smart brogues, smart flat brogues along with that. And I have removed my my long grey kind of trench coat that I came in, and I assume that's on a coat stand or something in this particular room. And I kind of offer you each a nod and a small smile, going around the room.
I'm standing pretty close to where we came in. Eyes darting about, not all the time, but just sort of on the lookout for something. Look about 20, 21, so quite young. Still the pale skin, still decent enough in the youth of the face. Short hair, wearing jeans, and looks like a very functional hoodie.
So you all see one another in this confined room, and you're waiting. The minutes continue to pass by, and you can tell based upon the clock up on the far wall, just watching these minutes tick by. And even though there is a slight impatience that everybody feels to get this meeting underway, it's still early in the evening. You've made certain, or in some of your cases, didn't have the chance to plan for anything for this evening. But there's a part of you that also dreads the moment that you're going to hear footsteps approaching. And inevitably you do. Coming through the exit that the gentleman passed before, that individual in his 40s or 50s steps back in. He's quite a well-dressed individual, not over the top so, and very plain in his attire, but in his mannerisms he's both almost gentlemanly but almost grandfatherly in how he kind of looks at each of you. And there's a smell about him of warm blood that your nostrils inadvertently flare up, and you know this person to be living. He's certainly not kindred. But the way that he kind of glances at you, and there's no visible reaction. It could only mean that this individual was a ghoul. You would all have been briefed on ghouls, perhaps not as much as you would have wanted to, but to a degree the term ghoul is known to you all. And he nods at each of you and then just gestures, "If you please follow me, I will take you to see the prince." And as he waits for you to stand, he gestures towards a doorway leading off, a doorway that you've not yet stepped through, but as he leads you off down this long corridor, he slows his pace to allow you guys to keep pace with him and speaks over his shoulder to you. My advice, if it's welcomed, is to refer to the prince either as my prince, your eminence, or anything similar, anything that is respectful. Once he has offered you to approach, bow, and then maintain eye contact with him at all times. Do not break eye contact. Now, is there anything you wish to ask me? And he stops midway down this corridor and turns and glances at you before you step through. Yeah, on the stream, you guys set up the cameras. Cameras? Mics. Well, the last bit of doing the mics.
If you have any more advice, then that would be also welcome.
Constable, are you aware of what the constable's role is?
Keep the peace of the prince.
In a sense. She serves as the prince's enforcer and ensures that his will is enacted. She will also be present. From personal experience, and it's odd that when he's speaking to you, he's doing it in an almost familiar way. You get the feeling that this is not new to him, what he's doing, what he's saying. But after the kind of time that you spend with your sire digesting everything, it's a welcome familiarity. And he leans in closer towards you, almost like he's afraid of being overheard, but not to the degree where he's lowering his voice. The attention that you would pay to the prince, do not pay to the constable. She is there to oversee the meeting. But it would be considered a slight to the prince to direct any comments to her unless she specifically asks you a question. Just remain courteous. The prince is old, and he is not known for suffering rudeness. Particularly now with current events, I won't waste your time with the details, but needless to say, this is a disastrous time in the city. No, well, not disastrous, but the prince is showing you great leniency by agreeing to meet with you rather than just dealing with you otherwise. So please, the utmost respect. If you follow me, and he continues down the corridor towards large doors, similar to the ones that you've just come from, white with gold handles. And when he gets to the door, he knocks twice on it, waits, and then nods, and then opens the handle and just steps aside so you can step through. In what order are you going in?
I'm certainly not rushing to the door first, so if anyone else looks like they're going.
I will step forward and calmly, as much as I can, enter through the door.
Who's
next? I'll go next.
Third?
I've been training at the back of the entire way, just padding
Third and fourth.
softly.
Okay. The room in which you all enter is long, with high walls draped in red wallpaper and numerous historical paintings lining the wall. White and gold doors, pair the one wall, one of which you've just walked through, opposite reaching windows and a beatific gleaming chandelier that hangs low off the ceiling. A long dinner table surrounded by armless red leather chairs occupies the core of this room, and its surface is covered with a long white sheet and decorative floral patterns as well as candelabras that just up from the middle. It's all electrical illumination, but the room is clearly lit. And as you step through, you look towards your right and you see the ending wall, and looking towards your left at the far end of the room are two figures. The first individual, the one that's closest to you, is sat against the wall in one of the singular chairs, not one surrounding the dining table, but one nestled against the wall. She appears to be a woman that is in her late teens, dressed in a high black turtleneck and a coat similar in design to your own. While she has pale features, she has wide, large eyes that are set apart, and short black page boy cut hair. And she's quite broad, looking quite solidly built. Someone that is, before she died, physically capable. And she doesn't look around as you come in. She's just staring ahead at something that you can't discern. But against the far end of the corridor, not facing, at the far end of the room, not facing you, but rather turned towards a piece of art that's upon the wall, looks to be someone in their 20s, with reddish-brown hair, pale skin, and as you can glance out the corner of the eye and the illumination picking up from the lights, quite striking blue eyes. Dressed in quite casual-looking trousers and a white shirt that is slightly large for him, but despite the size of the shirt, it's quite clear that this is quite a strong individual, or was a strong individual before his embrace. And as you step through and the door closes behind you, this individual slowly glances. He doesn't turn to look at you, but he turns his head, and then he looks all the way around. And for the first time, you set your eyes upon Prince Emrys. And he considers you for a long moment from across the room, and then just gestures.
Specifically to one of us or to all of us?
Everyone.
Beckoning towards him? Oh, yeah, so immediately.
Yeah, go forward.
Yep.
I muster my resolve to avoid my continuous twitching, and I just...
He takes stock of each one of you as you march in order up the room, and his gaze, with a leisurely pace, just moves from face to form to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. There's no hurry in what he's doing. And he has a degree of presence which, like the woman that sat against the wall, fills the space. And you find yourself feeling, for the first time in a long while, completely suffocated. The same instinct that a while ago you would have felt when you stopped breathing. But you don't need to breathe anymore. And you've become accustomed to not having that suffocating feeling. But in this guy's presence, it's there. And as you pace towards the far end of the table and array in front of him, he just considers you. What do you do?
Keep eye contact.
Wait for him to address us.
Roll wits plus etiquette for me.
Okay.
Difficulty 1.
First roll of the game, guys.
Oh, before you make this roll, everybody do arouse the blood check for me.
After you.
Oh yeah, I'm good.
This is for having awakened early.
I'm hungry.
Okay, you are now on 2 hunger.
6.
That's it.
I got 9.
It's not fair, you guys.
Okay, so difficulty 1.
I feel like I know what you're going to tell me. We have a 10, a 4, a 4, and a 2, so
Go 1 success.
1.
You were instructed to bow
Indeed.
before making eye contact.
So I would bow and address him as Your Eminence.
I follow suit.
I was going to say, can you take her lead at that point?
Your Eminence.
My prince?
My prince.
I step forward.
Your name?
Katya Stern, my prince.
Your sire?
Oliver Whitlock, my prince.
Your name?
Benjamin Green, child of Edmund St. Clair, my prince.
Your name?
Moses, child of the Alderman in the United States, my prince. Presented by my clan.
Jim Roy Woods, Your Eminence.
Side by?
Alicia.
How long have you been in my city?
I have been present in this city for 3 years.
Forgive me, my prince. Do you mean as a before?
How long have you been kindred in my city?
Oh, a few months.
A little over 2 years, my prince.
Less than a week, Your Eminence.
Only one of you has been in my city an acceptable amount of time before you came and introduced yourselves to me. What are your clans? I know yours. What are your clans?
Clan Tremere, my prince.
Clan Marcavian, my prince.
Clan Gangrel, Your Eminence.
Glances over towards the woman at the corner, and at the mention of the clan, she looks over and considers each of you, and then goes back to looking at whatever she was looking at. If you've not taken the time to come and see me directly, I'm curious how well your sires have educated you. I pray for your sakes. They have not been lacking. What's the second tradition?
Tradition of domain, Your Eminence.
And what does that mean?
It means that when one is, one should always show respect to the one that owns the domain. So in this case, you, my prince.
Yeah, that's correct. And what's the sixth tradition?
Destruction, Your Eminence.
Meaning what?
Meaning that we are not allowed to destroy another of our kind, Your Eminence, unless you decree it so.
And what's it called when I decree it so?
Blood hunt, Your Eminence.
Do you know what that involves?
I believe so, Your Eminence.
Nosferatu, what is the first tradition?
Thou shalt not break the masquerade, my prince.
Speak up.
Thou shalt not break the masquerade, my prince.
Do you know what that means?
Yes, not to show my face in public, not to let the kind know we exist.
I hope you all understand that. Are you aware of what's going on in my city at this moment?
Yes, my prince.
And you, fledglings?
Yes, Your Eminence.
What is going on in my city at the moment?
There are unprecedented numbers of thin bloods appearing, my prince.
There are. What do thin bloods mean, Tremere?
Thin bloods were one of the signs of the onset of Gehenna, Your Eminence.
With the sudden resurgence of kindred in my city, you can imagine how ill-disposed I am towards the idea of allowing more. You might not be thin bloods. In fact, I've already taken the time to check your lineage. before you gave me names. But you're still more mouths to feed. You're still more questionable predators in a city that is already stretched beyond my liking. So, tell me, fledglings, why I should allow you to stay. Malkavian, why should I allow you to stay?
Well, my prince, if this city is in a time of difficulty, and there are tasks that are needing to be done that are perhaps too much for those more important to deal with, then you could send us. We could serve your will in any way that would suit you.
You all share this perspective on your worth?
You do know that Clan Nosferatu can always be of use to the prince, Your Eminence.
To the prince, not to themselves. Curious wording. Tremere, do you agree?
I agree. I am at the service of the Camarilla of the city, my prince.
And you, Gangrel?
I am of equal mind, Your Eminence.
I know of your sires, yours less so. The matters of the colonies don't concern me. Not as much as some people would suggest otherwise, but we'll see. But I know your sire. I know yours. And I found out about yours. So, I'm willing to consider your admittance into my city as recognized kindred. But I want vows of loyalty from each of you. Not to the Camarilla, not to your clans, to me.
I'm about to do something slightly stupid. I'm just gonna take a step forward and bend the knee in front of him. Like, I, Moses of the Nosferatu.
Do you break eye contact?
Sorry?
Do you break eye contact?
No. Well, but just going down on one knee. I, Moses of the Nosferatu, swear my loyalty to you, my prince.
Do the same. So I'll take a knee. So, I, Benjamin of the Malkavian, swear loyalty to you, my prince.
And when Benjamin is done, I do the same, take a knee, keep eye contact, and say, I, Katya Stern of Clan Tremere, pledge my loyalty to you, Prince.
I take a small bow, maintaining eye contact, and go, I, Jim of Clan Gangrel, also pledge my loyalty to you, Your Eminence.
You don't take a knee.
I don't take any, just a small bow.
He stares at you for a while. Do you know one another?
No, my prince.
That explains why you're not learning from their example, Gangrel. Take the knee and say it again.
Slowly lower to one knee. I, Jim of Clan Gangrel, also pledge my loyalty to you, Your Eminence.
He leaves you there for a while. Not a while, but enough to make a point. With matters as they are in my city, I am not willing to broker any trouble from new bloods. Especially not fledglings who did not come to me immediately for recognition. Had I learned of your existence sooner, I might have been more willing to overlook it. But now, with everything going on, you're very lucky the constable's not busier than she currently is. Your sires, I'll be seeing them soon. And your clan, I'll be seeing them soon. You're allowed in my city. But the moment I question your loyalty, you'll be treated like all of the thin bloods. Do you understand me?
Yes, my prince.
Yes.
Yes, your prince.
You step out of this room and you will encounter Marcus Gray, my ghoul. You've already seen him once. He will be able to fill you in on any questions you have. And he will also be in touch with you tomorrow night as to my verdict on your domain. I will not have you poaching off of other kindred in the city, kindred who have proven themselves to be loyal. You will accept what I give you. If you want better, earn it. He turns back towards the ark.
Thanks for your time, my prince.
Your eminence.
It's at this point, as you turn away, that you realise that the woman that has been seated against the wall is staring at you. And she is young. I mean, the prince looks young, but this woman looks, she can't be in her 20s yet. But she is staring at you as you go past, and there's something there in her expression which is hard to discern. She has a very impassive expression, but there is something there. If people want to make the roll, they can.
Is it obvious if we do?
Well, you'd be scrutinising if you failed.
I won't risk it.
Is that what,
What I don't know,
like
can't
an insight roll?
It would be wits plus insight.
I'm going for it.
I'm just getting out of there.
I'm walking.
There'll be time for this later. But not for this, Nosferatu.
This is where we die.
It's where you die.
That's 9 and 8, and then 5 4s and 2s.
Okay. You try and sneak as long a look at her as you can. But the glance, which is kind of trading from face to face, suddenly locks eyes on you and stays on you. Even as you progress beyond the room, it's quite clear that she was aware of your scrutiny. She doesn't react to it in any way. Even her expression doesn't change, but she does watch you as you leave the room. And you, as you're parting and you take a glance back, she rises from her seat, still facing towards you as the door shuts behind you. And you are back out in that corridor again with the aforementioned Marcus Gray, who is looking between you almost as though he's trying to judge how well it went based upon your expressions.
When the door closes, I just go,
If you follow me, we can speak in more comfortable environment.
Thank you.
And he leads you down the corridor, back to the room that you were in, but then to the room opposite, which is by far smaller than the one that you just come from. But there's chairs there, there's more artwork, there's more fabulous decor, but there's seats almost arrayed towards each other, almost as though it encourages social interaction. And he just walks in and gestures for you to take a seat.
I take a seat.
take a seat.
I take the seat first away from the Tremere that I can.
I just look for a place where I can just, if I could if I could be hyperventilating, I would be. So right now I'm trying to calm down before I sit down and then join them.
He waits until everybody's settled, and then he doesn't take a seat himself, but just How do you believe that went?
Well, your advice was certainly appreciated. Thank you very much.
Yes, I dread to think what would have happened if you hadn't given us that advice, to be honest.
Thanks.
No, not a problem. As I said, the situation warranted a bit of forewarning, I believe.
Yes.
The prince doesn't normally invite the constable to oversee. I don't mind telling you that she probably would have seen more active use in that meeting if it had gone poorly. But you are welcome to remain here for the time being to acclimatize yourselves. You are now recognized, so any other kindred, whilst they will all be notified of your existence as accepted citizens of London, you are not permitted to feed anywhere in the capital until tomorrow evening, when I will contact yourselves to let you know your respective domains. Until that time, feeding is forbidden, and it will be treated as poaching if it's witnessed or discovered. You are also highly encouraged to keep away from some of the more dangerous areas of London. Quite a few of the Thin Bloods have retreated there to try and outdistance the constable, but it won't be long until the situation is resolved. But until then, I advise caution. But if there's anything I can do, any questions I can answer, or
You mentioned respective domains. Does that mean that the prince will be giving us each our own domain?
it would, to be honest, you are a larger group of, excuse the term, but fledglings that we have had for a while. Normally, it's individual kindred that are brought before the prince. So I don't wish to speak on his behalf. Potentially individual domains, but maybe not. I mean, it depends entirely on what the prince considers acceptable.
From your experience, do you think it's likely we'll get separate domains, or will we?
As I said, I can't really comment. You are certainly the largest group of newcomers to the city that we've had. I mean, barring recent arrivals who feared pending signs, but they themselves are being escorted from the city. So it wouldn't become a territorial issue if that's what you're concerned about. But as I said, I don't wish to speak for the prince. The fact that you have currently come before the prince and been received takes into effect the accounting. So you are now considered neonates. So as far as I am aware, you will not be forced to reside with your sires anymore. They have relinquished control of you.
Oh.
Care for you, sorry.
They have?
That's the purpose of the accounting. You have gone before the prince as fledglings, and he has recognized your sire's claims that you are capable of existing without their guidance. Whilst this does mean you are no longer reliant on their guidance, it does also mean that any wrongdoings are yours to bear. As I said, if you keep away from more troublesome areas of the city, it shouldn't be an issue. The current circumstances should be resolved, I believe, by whenever they're resolved.
Besides the many vampires that are coming and the Thin Bloods, what else? What other problems is our prince facing in the city?
The prince himself is not facing any. In fact, his position within the city is arguably never been stronger. But if you are speaking as to the dangers yourselves, might be.
And to the rest of us, yes.
He pauses for a moment, also so he's trying to weigh what he's saying. The Hyde Park, whilst it's no longer considered to be an area of that shouldn't be ventured into, there was a recent encounter with lupines in the area. It's been dealt with as far as I'm aware, but that's the only immediate threat I can think of. The Sabbat are no immediate threat, and the Anarch movement are being moderated. So in terms of any threats to yourselves, it's mainly just keeping in the way of Constable Jacqueline and the hounds.
What areas are Elysia here in London?
Presently, this is the central Elysium. There are others being named, but the Prince on occasion likes to rotate them to make sure that they're not. It's not necessarily predictable. There are a few that the Prince favours, but right now this is the principal one you should come to for information or just general gatherings. But there are more being named, some more keepers of Elysium that are also being titled. There's been a change in some positions with some kindred leaving the city. The influx of new kindred who have sought to become recognised and are being turned away or accepted in turn.
Are there any individuals you think we ought to know?
Certainly the constable. She's who you'll be dealing with until such a time as you have your own domains. Once you are more settled and you get the chance to come to Elysium, then obviously you will have the chance to meet some of the other kindred in person. So I would be hesitant to direct you to anyone in particular. But I highly recommend that as soon as you are settled, you do make yourselves known to Elysium. Your names will be passed along to the other kindred, just so that they know you are recognized and not to count you among the thin-blooded, but they won't know your faces, and that can be problematic.
Are there any you might direct us away from?
He was silent for a long moment. Whilst I'm hesitant to speak as to any individuals, there is one I would advise you to keep a respectable distance from. Deacon Rhodes. His affiliation with the Anarch movement is well known, and he hasn't made the best choices recently. Aside from that, any thin bloods which are known, the constable is currently aware of the identities of them, and they are being dealt with. But if such a time comes that once the thin blood problem is dealt with, once the prince has deduced whether or not any individuals need to be held accountable for their actions during this time, you might be directed to join in the blood hunt. Should such action be called for. Of course, this is the purview of the
Of
prince.
course. And what is the... say we were to come face to face with a thin blood, what is the appropriate response?
At this time, avoid them.
Report their presence? Location?
Certainly. That can only endear you to the constable and to the prince. But as far as I am aware, the situation still takes into account the sixth tradition. Should you take any action against a thin blood, I can guarantee that the sixth tradition won't be considered to have been in effect.
Of course.
Is there anything else at all?
How do we get in touch with?
I can take your contact numbers, and I will be in contact with you tomorrow after sunset to inform you of the prince's decision. If I am not immediately in contact, then I ask that you bear with me. I will be in contact as soon as he has rendered his verdict.
Should we come and see you here?
You are welcome to come to Elysium if you wish. There might be other kindred that you could interact with, but as far as I'm aware, most kindred now are maintaining a relatively low profile whilst thin bloods are being dealt with. Or they are keeping to their own social circles. So I can't guarantee that anyone would be here that you could introduce yourself to, but you are always welcome at Elysium. Is there anything else?
I don't think so. Thank you, Marcus.
Indeed. Thank you so much for your assistance.
If you provide your contact details, and he reaches into his suit and pulls out a notepad, flicks over to a new page, and just clicks a pen and hands it out to.
I happily take it quickly.
Give me a card.
Professional.
Glances at it and then pockets it.
I write down my number quickly in fairly neat handwriting and offer it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'll scribble out the number and offer it.
I take it, scribble it down, hand over.
He takes it, clicks the pen back, and returns. I hope I'm not overstepping bounds, but I highly recommend that you're all in a similar boat, situation speaking, and I would recommend that you at least familiarise yourselves with one another before returning, or return as you wish, but for the time being.
I agree. Sounds like an excellent idea.
You are welcome to use this room for that purposes, unless you have somewhere else that you would prefer to be. I will be here myself for the time being until it becomes time for the public to come and peruse the museum, as it were. So I will be here if you require anything further, but otherwise you are welcome to use this room. Obviously you will be expected to use a more discreet exit than the front door. At this time there are numerous individuals out by Hyde Park, so quite a few people keen to see the area in the wake of the Hyde Park incident, as they're calling it. So just please take care, and this room is off limits to other members. It's considered an area for use by the 9th Duke of Wellington. So there's no concerns that you will be interrupted. I will be available if you need me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
He gives you all a nod and then steps to the door, opens it, slips out, gives you all another look, and then just closes it behind him.
Go into my pocket, grab my mobile, speak dial to Alice.
Okay.
Just to let her know.
Okay. So it picks up on the first ring. Moses?
Oh, you were waiting for me, right?
Don't get smart. Are you okay?
I'm alive, aren't I? I think we made it. Getting the main. I was not the only one. We were 4.
4?
Yeah.
That's a lot. For
Tell me about it. I thought I was gonna be here alone.
It's probably best that you're not.
Well, yeah. I mean, I wasn't even presented by my clan, but never mind.
Well, the fact that you're speaking to me now means it must have gone well. You didn't do something fucking stupid, did you?
Besides swearing allegiance to him, no.
That's... Given your circumstances, that's probably not necessarily stupid.
No, I mean, I was the first one to go down on the knee, offering it. I think I came across a little overeager.
To be honest, I'm struggling to find a situation where that... I mean, this is me speaking to you as a friend and not as a member of my clan who would be pissed beyond belief at me if they heard me say this, but it's probably not a bad thing. You're new, you don't have your sire, you barely know the other individuals in your care or who's looking after you. I mean, making a good first impression is probably the best thing you can do right now.
First impression, I think I felt like I botched everything. He had this really strong gaze. Yeah. It's like I'm whispering in a corner. I got really strong gaze.
Can we hear this at all?
Of course, it's like a really silent room, but
like a really bad way.
It's not a big room. It's
a small room. You're quiet. Probably has some echo, and I'm going.
Just listening with a smile.
Yeah, I'm listening, but one eye is locked on her. Just knowledge she's from here. No.
And I keep my stealthy conversation. So I'm not allowed to feed tonight. Because it must have some echo, this place. And tomorrow we're gonna be assigned a domain, but it was never clear if each one has a domain or if the prince can't be bothered and just will give us like, here, the 4 of you.
I mean, to be honest, regardless of what he decides to do, the fact that you even have a domain is a step above what you had before. I mean,
Yeah.
I've never met the guy, so I can't really speak as to his generosity, but I'm pretty certain that Plucky Jake would probably not be willing to accept you in the Warren for a long period of time.
I haven't been in the Warren for longer than an hour.
That's probably long by his estimate.
Yeah, but I mean, new guy, he needs to know who I am.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if you're getting domain, even if it's not big, it's something, and it's something to build from.
Okay, cool. Want to hang out with later? I'm supposed to stay here and get to know my new friends. But I don't think they like me. And then I turn around. Oh my God, and they're looking at me. I gotta go.
You should probably get off the phone and speak to them.
Bye.
I think you made a great first impression.
Thank you.
How do you? It seems very strange that we've introduced ourselves to the prince, but not to each other. I'm Benjamin. Hello.
I remember.
Yes, no, but I just mean it seems odd that I haven't actually introduced myself to you. It just seems, odd. The whole thing seems odd, really, if I'm honest.
How long did you say it had been for you? 2 months?
Yes.
Well, that's not surprising then, really.
And I'm a little unclear as to exactly what's just happened. I didn't go in assuming that we would. I don't know. It all happened very quickly, don't you think?
Well, you're still here.
Yes. And that didn't seem very certain for a time there.
Oh, well, he's really hard to read.
I don't know if he was very pleased to see us, if I'm honest.
No.
I would be very surprised if he was.
Well, think about it this way. Imagine you have a big house. Supposed to be 20 people living there. And then you have 30 people living there in a rat infestation. And the 4 of us come there to ask for a room.
Are we rats?
I said the 4 of us.
You
What's
said it
wrong
had a
with
rat
rats?
infestation.
Yeah, I'm talking about the thin bloods. I'm bad with that. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that makes more sense. It was good though. You got quite far.
All right.
Yeah.
I think you probably should have kneeled. I know it's a little late after the fact, but I think that's probably, in future.
I think it was badass. I wouldn't do it. I'm not stupid, but that was bad. I'm not calling you stupid. I'm not calling you. Just not calling you stupid. Because I could not pull it off. If I would do it, I'm not.
I mean, I have to say, I'm glad that I wasn't there on my own, because at least there was someone else to answer questions and to.
To be honest, if I had been alone, I would be groveling over the ground all the time. I'd probably face up to not break eye contact.
Oh, it was like being at school. That's what it was like being at school. When you're asked a question in front of everyone, in front of the whole school, and then you have to try and think of the answer, which of course you know, but then when
Except
you're
your
there...
teacher was less likely to execute you on command.
Yes, exactly, but...
Or have their lackey.
Yes. I trust you know what I meant.
I wonder if this room is bugged.
You're both gangrels. Have you heard of her? You've been very new, but have you heard any stories of the constable? What do you know about her?
I know that if I did not turn up tonight, by the end of the night, I would be Ash.
That bad, huh?
Do you think this room is bugged?
I wouldn't be surprised if there was a way to listen in. It seems sensible to me.
Do you think we should have this conversation somewhere else?
Which conversation?
I just mean, I don't know.
You're sounding like you want to make a plan that you want.
No. That's absolutely not.
I'm messing with you. My jokes are not good.
Sorry,
sorry.
It's very funny. I'm just not quite ready for humour yet. I just mean, as in, I'd hate to say something foolish whilst someone was listening to me, if that makes sense.
It's probably better to sound foolish when they are listening to you than sound suspicious and they're not able to hear what you're saying, which probably would put you in more danger.
Oh, all right. I suppose we stay here then.
Well, if I leave this place, I'm going straight back to where I came from until tomorrow, until we get this news.
If the prince doesn't give us separate domains, what would that mean exactly?
It means that I call dibs on the basement.
Means we see a lot of each other.
Or it means we simply are unwelcome in London and we must head elsewhere.
No, I keep the basement.
Well, it's useful to have a clan that can back you up in such respects.
No, they don't back me up. I'm a foreigner. What's with the deal in Hyde Park? Have you ever encountered
I haven't heard much about the incident myself.
I don't really know what any of that meant. Do you know what that meant?
I know enough that if one was to be here right now, all four of us would be dead.
Well, presumably they've been, run out of the immediate vicinity.
I thought they said that had all been, that was in hand or something. We just have to avoid the park. There were a lot of things said that sort of, I don't know, I wasn't very familiar with, to be honest.
Well, presumably you will pick these things up quickly. I think we'll have to.
Yes.
But this isn't the best way to make a first impression, so I'm going to go back to the start. My name is Cartier Stern. I would understand if in the intensity of the situation you may have forgotten, but it is a pleasure to make all three of your acquaintances.
Yes, nice to meet you.
Hola.
Hello.
Hi. That's Moses.
Moses, right.
You think it's a rather shitty look, just the knowledge that you're Tremere just...
I see him like being very jumpy, makes me feel less nervous for some reason. I'm like, pretty pictures, right?
Yes, and all originals. Very impressive.
Oh my god.
I mean, the wealth on display is incredible. And
You can tell just by a look.
Of course. I'm an artist. Did I not?
Oh, really?
Yes. Yes.
Fascinating.
Yes. That's really. I was a little surprised actually. I sort of thought that's. Well, that the prince would allow us to stay, and then I would work on my art, not really deal with, I don't know, all of this other business. This seems a little unexpected, to be honest. But yes, it's lovely, and not just here. I mean, this room alone, the pictures here, the value is incredible. But I mean, the room before had even more. Amazing. Although, and I'm going to lower my voice because I don't want to offend the prince. It's all a little. My tastes are more modern. I'll say that.
Interesting.
Yes, but no, I mean they are wonderful examples of that time and incredibly rare. I mean, it's an incredible collection.
Did ladies really look like that back then? I mean, they look weird.
Oh no, I think it's actually quite accurate because obviously our perception of beauty changes over time, doesn't it? And
okay.
Yes.
So what kind of artist are you?
Well, I like sort of modern work mainly, and I suppose realism is my thing. Well, I could show you some work at some point.
What? You're like paint? Or
Yes, paint.
draw?
Paint.
You can draw. And I get my pen out.
Yes. Normally with a brush, but I suppose a pen.
Sorry.
What, do you want me to draw something for you?
I'm
Yeah, it
sure
would be
you can
nice.
show us some of your work at some
Yes,
point.
of course.
I would
Yes,
enjoy
yes.
that.
Oh, I'd very much like to show you.
Where's Marcus?
He left the room, I believe.
Yes. Why?
We need paper
Why do we need paper?
for you to draw.
Draw what?
I don't know. Could you please draw something pretty?
I mean,
Kind of watching this in
I suppose I
I'm messing with
could-
you. My best friend
just-
was in the fine arts school. She does photography.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Photography?
Well, as a minor, she's a philosopher.
Oh,
She's fun. She's nice.
she sounds nice. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I haven't. This situation. I appreciate humor. It's just probably what we need. But
Yeah, my jokes suck.
I can't. I don't know. It just all seems so.
Yes, I get you. I'm nervous too. Doesn't look like it, but I am.
Yes.
Like a lot.
Well, it seems very, very dangerous.
That's because it most likely is.
Well, yes. But that's my point. That it is dangerous and it is worrying. That's all.
What brought you here to London, guys?
I've been here for a while. Nothing really brought me here, but I like the city.
Where are you from, if you don't mind my asking?
I might as well just be from London, to be honest.
Okay, I guess.
There's nothing mysterious connotations meant to, that wasn't meant to sound like that. I grew up a little way outside the city. But for all intents and purposes, I might as well be a Londoner.
You, Jim?
I'm looking for someone.
You're looking for someone.
Friend?
You could say that.
Where are you from?
Around the Bristol area.
Oh, right. Where's Bristol?
I assume it's been a tough week.
Well, slightly south of here.
Yeah.
Southwest.
It's understandable.
What you?
Well, I've been in London for about 6 months, and I came to well, my art brought me here really, or I had a chance to display work here, and then all of this happened. But
Oh, so you're like really, really newly embraced.
oh yes, was that not obvious? Yes,
Say about 2 months.
yes. I mean that's.
He said 2 months. I thought it was 2 months him here in the city.
Oh no, I've been in the city for about 6 months.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I was in Edinburgh before that, but I'm not Scottish, obviously, as you can probably tell.
No.
Edinburgh.
Oh, right, of course. Yes. Yes.
Sorry, I'm vaguely familiar with the city. I haven't had a chance to visit, but I would love to.
Oh, it's lovely.
I have a friend who lives up there.
Yeah, well, yes. No, I've fond memories of Edinburgh and Scotland, of course. It's a wonderful place.
Yeah.
What do you guys? Well, you're an artist. What did you do before, or still?
I did a bit of this and that. I used to be decent when it came to public speaking. I enjoyed it a little bit.
Oh, I find that incredibly fun.
It took a long time, but I felt passionate about what I used to enjoy speaking about.
Debate team? Did you guys
Yes.
have that here?
Yes,
Debate
yes,
teams?
yeah.
Oh yes, yeah. We certainly have them.
Yes, it can be fun sometimes.
What about you, Moses?
What?
Well, what did you?
Oh,
do?
I was student in the U.S.
So
Student of what?
Computer science.
Oh.
Really?
Oh, that's. I hear that's quite a thing now.
Yeah. Actually, quite handy.
Yes.
so what brings you to London, Moses?
Alice. She is from here. She's my friend. And I met her when she lived in the U.S.
Why would you want to leave the US?
Oh, it's not that I wanted to leave. It's that
I see.
she told me that it was better here. But she'd been there for a while. So when we got here all together, we didn't know what was going on. We were not
I
aware of
see.
the situation. So I think I arrived in a bad time and I just stayed on the ground.
I didn't realise. I mean, I knew that I wasn't supposed to go out anywhere because obviously we hadn't met the
Of
prince.
course.
But I didn't realise that not having gone to meet the prince sooner was a bad thing. Or, well, he said one of us. Who was the prince referring to?
He got here 2 weeks ago, so he came out as immediately as he could.
Less than a week.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
So, but that's what I mean. So I didn't realise that was going to put me on the prince's bad side. I feel very bad about that because if I'd known, obviously, then I didn't know.
Well, I had no choice. I had to go first to my clan because I was brought here by 2 Bruyas. I did not come with an Nosferatu.
Is that a bad thing?
Well, yeah, it's like, well, first the Nosferatu had to know that I was coming and that I was going to be here and that I had to talk to the Primogen and then in order for him to get an interview for me, I needed to be worthy, and you know how it is.
Not really.
You will know how it is.
All right.
But I don't know. I mean, how many Malkavians have you interacted with besides your sire?
None.
Oh, that's great.
You're the first, actually, that I've met that are not my sire.
I see. Interesting.
Well, but doesn't that have to be the? Is that not the case for you? I assume we weren't allowed to, meet other people until we met the prince.
I was
and
raised in another country. And
Oh yes.
I was there living for a while, so I knew other vampires. Not many though, but I lived there for quite a while.
Well, as you heard, when I was explaining myself to His Eminence, I've been here the way I am for about 3 years now, but I've mostly only interacted with my own clan up until this point.
So you're quite, quite experienced then.
Depends how you measure experience.
I'm measuring it from where I'm sitting.
Well, if you visualized a timeline in front of you, if you put yourself at the start,
Yes.
say you put our prince at the other end, I would be scarcely a millimeter away from you, I'm sure, in terms of experience.
Right. All right.
How old do you reckon he is?
I think he's
Old enough, I'm sure.
older than he looks. I think.
By a long, long way.
I I think you need to get a grasp of this whole vampire thing. I'm talking how many centuries do you think has he been around?
I don't know.
We don't get that. Like, it's really rare to have very, very ancient vampires in the Americas in general. That's what I was told by Alice and her sire. They're more common here. There, if you have a really, really old vampire, like I think the Toreador Primogen of Minnesota, I think he was around during the time of the American Revolution, and that was old by our standards until someone was like, yeah, right, try with someone from the Crusades. That's creepy. And it comes from me.
Yes.
I'm sure the.
So what do you do for a living, Jim?
Oh yes.
Or unliving? What did you do?
I've done a couple of things, not too much really.
What is there anything you'd like to do then? I mean,
That was intentionally very, very vague. I am from the clan of secrets and I'm telling you my life. What's wrong? Don't you trust us?
Like it very pointedly goes to the Tremere.
Tell me what you did in life. I mean, this is polite conversation. Didn't Marcus said so?
yeah, I mean, I would like to think that this is, it's actually been quite a while since I've had to make small
Indeed.
talk.
And let's
to be honest.
let's entertain the notion that we are handed a domain to be shared. I think it will be necessary to have an understanding of each other, at least a little.
I have the feeling things are going to be difficult enough as they are without us
I think
making
they
life
dated.
tough.
I think they stood dated. At some point it went bad. I'm joking.
Oh, I thought you might be that time. I think I'm starting to get the hang of it.
Yes.
Maybe I'm calming down a little bit.
We need to find another victim soon.
Yeah. It's okay. Jim will never laughs at my jokes. He will. There he is.
Don't give nothing.
Okay, guys. You want to go dancing?
When and where?
Does it matter? Not Hyde Park.
Well, yes.
I don't know.
We're not allowed to feed, but it's not that we're not allowed to party.
It feels a little
they're
premature to
hand in hand.
party, in a sense. I mean,
I am alive and I have been accepted into London.
I think I'd be more likely to dance if I wasn't accepted. Then at least I know I'd die soon afterwards.
Yeah, well, how about dancing for a celebration? It's not like we're gonna go for tequila shots. Come on, guys. I never thought. I mean, come on.
It doesn't seem very wise.
Is it awful that I'm like my character is an American and he's starting to sound like a party animal when he actually isn't? Okay, cool. Like, come on, guys. I mean, this really, really shy Nosferatu is going like, please come with me. You see it in his eyes. It's like, if you don't come, I have no reason to go dancing on my own.
it's not really my scene, if I'm honest.
I have far too much to do tonight. And besides, I'll have to get back. There's the results of this evening to report. I can't leave that unsaid.
I would imagine that Edmund will want to collect me, but I suppose I could ask him when he gets
Yeah,
here.
he can come and dance as well. How about Jim? You want to dance?
I'm more one to stay by the door, but I'll follow.
Just come.
I can't promise I'm going to dance exactly, but I don't mind coming and keeping you company.
Cool.
This seems incredibly dangerous. The very first night we are accepted into London, you immerse yourself amidst a large number of kind and
Be dull.
lose
Yeah,
your
I'm listening.
inhibitions.
Well, maybe. So maybe Cathy has a point. I mean, the last thing I want to do is make a bad impression on our first night. That would be awful.
I'm ringing Alice again.
Yep.
Hi, girl. Is there any place that I can go celebrate, like to have a dance with my new friends?
You specifically?
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Well, let's meet all at my flat and we dance.
I mean, you're not gonna have any kind there, are you?
No.
Well, there you go then.
Well,
Flat's fine.
okay, get your cute little butt and your friends. Are you busy tonight?
Well, we're currently involved in checking up on... Do you really need me to be there?
No, I just wanted you to hang around. Well, either way, I'm taking 3 strangers to my house.
2.
Still not the worst thing you've ever said. I mean, if you get in trouble, you know where I am.
Cool.
I can't promise I'll be there. But if you hang
It's
around...
okay. It's okay, you can always drop by later. Yeah. Cheers. Bye-bye. Come on. I think I have to use the back door, but let's go to my place.
Well, I just need to. I have this feeling. I could be wrong, but I have this feeling that that my sire will probably want to speak to me before I go. That's my. Let me just see if he's. No, I suspect he's here. He's probably because I imagine that that's what the prince meant, that he was going to speak to our sires. I assume they're here. I don't know. Is Edmund here?
He said he'll be speaking to
Oh, he's
me
not.
later.
Oh, in that case, I'll.
Yeah.
In that case, I'll say, oh no, I've got it wrong. I'm wrong. No, I think it's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Let's go.
It's fine.
Marcus? I get to the door and open it slowly.
I need... Give it to me. Apologies.
Benjamin?
No.
Benjamin Button.
Benjamin Button.
Remind me of your disciplines.
Celerity, fortitude, and protein.
The usual 3.
Yeah, Malkavian classic.
Actually,
kind of
all
coffee?
three
Yeah.
apparatus.
Who has Allspace?
Me.
What do you have as your first?
I went for the alternative one. Let me just find it on my myriad of papers. I went for Sense the Unseen.
I need a Wits plus Allspex roll.
Oh, lovely. That's
You have the same one?
not going to be a great big
No.
pool. And 2 of them are hunger dice.
Fantastic.
Oh, great!
Other problem with partying, guys, I'm low-key pretty hungry.
And this is how we die.
7, a 9, and a 1. So that's potentially 2.
You go up and you open the door and there's nothing there. It's just the corridor. And you pause and you wait and then you close the door. And as you turn in an instant, standing in front of all of you, in the middle of the room, kind of surveying one of the one of the high back chairs, is a hideous individual covered in leathers which are faded and worn, with a very tight-skinned, almost bat-like look. His eyes are milky white and in sockets which have no eyelids. And his lips are peeled back, exposing just fangs.
Ah!
I'm in a defensive stance here.
It's like that. I find that offensive.
I was surprised.
He didn't say boo. Is it flaky Jake? Is it flaky Jake?
It's Plucky Jake.
Oh, plucky Jake. Sorry.
Flaky Jake.
I forget that one. Sorry. I find that offensive. He didn't say boo.
Oh, right. All right.
Let me introduce you to the primogen of the Nosferatu clan, Plucky Jake.
Now, which one of you guys actually understands what that means?
I'm afraid I don't, actually.
He's the top dog of the Nosferatu.
Oh, well, it's an honor to meet you then.
Really?
Yes?
Even with this handsome mug.
Yes.
So you weren't screaming like a girl a moment ago.
I was very surprised when you appeared like that, yes. It's not funny.
I'm taking a slow step towards the door.
I wouldn't do that, sweet cakes. I I want to have a word. Sit down.
This answers your question, by the way,
Oh,
about this room being bugged.
I was only listening to like half of what you said.
it's alright. I assumed that might be the case.
But if he's gonna say anything interesting, then the answer is most definitely not. Am I wrong?
Maybe. You gonna sit down?
Oh, he didn't even want to.
Are you eyeballing him?
No, I'm just looking at her going, I just,
Trust me, kid. You're not gonna make the door before I do.
Jim, let's not turn this into the kneeling incident.
Sit
down.
When
Like
Imogen
me.
tells you to
slowly
sit,
towards
You
the
didn't
chair.
even kneel.
It is in your
the
best
prince on the
interest.
first go.
Which ones have you been buddying up with? Which ones have you been buddying up with? Right. Did he kneel?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Prick. But you're a smart prick.
Thank you.
You gonna sit down, Gangrel?
Just slowly moving the seat.
Fucking hell, sit down!
I'm already
Doesn't
sitting.
finally sit.
Moses, grab the door.
Sure.
So, James, right? You're James to me.
Katya.
Katia.
Benjamin.
And I know who you are. Welcome to London. So, how did that little meeting go with the high honcho?
Terrifying.
As well as could be hoped.
Really?
Indeed.
Not many people could say that. He's normally a bit of an asshole. What about you, Malkavian?
Well, it was all very intense and quite scary, but we're still here, and I'm glad about that.
What about you, James? You feel it went well?
Jim.
You're James to me. Is that a problem?
James is short for James.
No. Wait. Is that a problem?
I guess not.
The answer is no, Plucky Jake. It's not a fucking problem. Do you get me?
I get ya.
Good. Then we're buddies. Take a fucking seat and listen up. You've entered at the worst possible fucking time. I'm assuming you all know about the whole Gehenna scare. You do. Do you? You look fresh.
Yes, I'm very fresh.
Right, so you don't know what Gehenna is.
Not really.
It's some bullshit fairy tale that most people believe in, that the world's gonna end when the antediluvians wake up and devour all of the kindred, all of the Nosferatu, all of the kind, everyone, blah, blah, blah. End of the world shit. It's the turn of the century. Everybody's cacking their pants and thinking, oh, fuck, they're gonna wake up and eat us all. Not the case. We're still unliving. We're still here. So, now, with the emergence of the Thin Bloods, everybody's thinking, oh shit, maybe it's a slow start. And they're going hunting for all of the Thin Bloods, taking them all out, and all the people that are flocking to London thinking it's fucking safe are finding it's not fucking safe. It's the exact opposite. Because the prince has got a stick up his ass. So, and I say that with the greatest fucking respect. So, you all being here, I mean, it's just tickling my ass, something funny. So I'm keen to meet these people that are gonna associate and probably end up living with my good friend Moses. So I know your names, I know your clans. And from what I hear, I know you're a bit of a art guy.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Make a great toreador. What about you, Cheeks?
I like to meet people.
Clearly. Mm-hmm. How's that working out for you? Especially Devil Eye over there.
I think it's gone alright so far.
That's a point, kid. What's your problem with the Tremere? I've seen the Harry Potter movies. I reckon they're great. Some of them. So what's your problem with her? She's the only girl in your group. Priorities.
Tremere, Gangrel, history.
Way to be fucking vague. You had a point. Right then, James. If you're not gonna tell us what your problem is with her, at least tell us what you did in life. And don't give me any of this "I've done a lot of stuff" bullshit, because I got about this much patience for people like you. So what did you do?
I was a warehouse operative.
Right. Well, that's better than child killer, which is, I thought, maybe where you were going with the whole look and solitary air, I'm gangsty and all that shit. We got enough of those in London, kid. Don't be one of them. Problem?
No.
Good. Still buddies. What kind of art do you do?
Oh, well, crowd scenes mostly.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, I'm no longer interested.
Oh,
Edmund Sinclair's Get, right?
That's right.
That stuffy prick.
Well, no, he's
No, he's a stuffy prick.
he really.
No, he's a stuffy prick. We can go like this all evening, kid.
Yeah, all right. Well, I suppose we can agree to disagree.
Yeah, sure.
What did you do?
Me?
Yes.
I've done a lot of stuff, kid. A lot of stuff. Name it, I probably touched on it, or probably touched it in some fashion.
Right.
I mean, like my boy Moses here, I'm not natural to London, at least. You know, I was originally, not anymore, and then I came back. It's a whole long, shitty story involving some kindred that, well, they're pricks. And they're not pricks anymore because they're dead.
Oh, right.
And you're the face of the Tremere.
Indeed.
I've heard a bit about you. I mean, woof. What? I'm just being honest.
No, that's fine.
Look, I got faces like that to look at all day. Do you think I see anything better?
No.
I mean, I'm not terrible looking by most Nosferatu standards, but yeah, smart answer. But, you know, so I want to have a little word of warning with you guys after the break. So, as I was saying, you've come at a really bad time, but that's okay, because as far as I'm concerned, I'm fucking tired of all the people that are already here, so new blood, yay, could be great. Or you could be shitters, in which case, you know, you'll be dealt with. I did hear you, like, musing about going a bit of, you know, I wouldn't, not yet.
I mean, my place.
And I wasn't invited.
Well, you had...
Fuck you, Moses. You know I'd wipe the floor with you, right?
Oh, yeah.
Me and James would. Ain't that right? Cupcake.
I bet he has...
Holy fucking shit, did you see that?
Yeah, I mean, gutsy.
Yeah, I know, right?
You're making so much progress.
He's socializing.
So, you ready to tell us why you don't like Tremere? I love little soap opera shit like this.
The history of the Tremere experimenting on my clan and your clan.
Who fucking who? I don't care about most of my clan. Sorry, Moses.
Okay, no.
So, has she experimented on you?
No.
She hasn't? Are you sure? Hasn't slipped anything up the old, no? Because, you know, you seem to have a little bit of a beef with someone that could be your only fucking ally in this city. Now, why am I giving you this little pep talk? I mean, in all sincerity, I don't give two shits about most, I mean, yeah, only by virtue of blood. I don't know you, Moses, sorry. But my point is, and you know, USA. But my point is, I don't care what happens to you guys. I'm not gonna lose any day sleep over you dying, or you dying, or you dying. Especially not you dying, sorry, but you're always gonna be James to me, and don't give me lip again. So, my point is, why am I giving you advice? It's because, you know, someone's got to. I mean, you got Marcus, but he's a ghoul. There's only so much he can fucking know. And your sires clearly have not educated you well. Sorry, but they haven't. 3 fucking years? Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, seriously, what?
I don't get out much.
No, fucking clearly not. But my point is, you might only have these fucking guys. So this shit that you got going with your whole I don't care bullshit, leave it at the door. If you're gonna talk shit to someone, go fuck around with other gangrels. There's enough of them that have the same fucking attitude. You can duke it out and get rid of some of this fucking pent-up sexual frustration you got going.
Oh.
Yeah. But my point is, these guys, they're your community now, boy. Because, your gangrel aren't gonna be there for you when he drops the fucking boot. And he will, eventually. Unless you really like kissing that ass. Which I don't think you do.
What do you mean?
The prince.
I mean, drop the boot. I wasn't quite sure what that expression means.
Put it this way. You're already fucked up. I mean, ironically, apart from you, and to a degree you, because you came late. That's not your fault. I don't give two shits, and I know. Oh. It's not your fault. It's your sire's fault. But that's one strike, kiddos. That's already one. He don't care if it's your fault. He doesn't care. He's got an entire fucking city to run, and he's got beautiful people like me helping him. And that's face facts. I'm a bit of an asshole, even when I'm in a good mood. And for someone that stuffy, I'm intolerable. But I keep my shit in line. My people answer to me, and if they don't, I deal with them. You gotta keep your own people in line. And whilst Marcus is giving the oodally about whether or not you guys are gonna have your own little private havens, you're not gonna fucking have your own. You're not. The city, even with only like a small portion of kindred when all the other fuckers get turfed out, you're not gonna have a lot of space. There's gonna be a lot of kindred, a hell of a lot older and a hell of a lot stronger than you, vying for territory. And the prince is gonna give it to them because they know how to lick boot. You got a lot to prove, so you're gonna get lumped together. I'm sorry, but you fucking are. And if you don't, color me fucking blind. But I know that guy. I'm not happy to admit that, but I know that guy. And you're all gonna get stuck together. So you better start kissing ass with the right people. Namely, these fucking three, and especially the Tremere. Why? Because let's face it, kid, you want a Tremere on side. I've got a few, and they might be stuck up. I'm sorry, but your clan is a little fucking stuck up.
It's the truth.
But it's you. I'm fucking quoting that. You heard that, Moses.
Loud and clear.
It's not just us, right? Right? There's no. I mean, you haven't got any fucking like Toreador allies or shit like that. So, you got an insufferable person potentially. That's better than having three. That's better than being on your own. So suck it up, like yourselves, and be all fucking chummy. Because your sires, they ain't gonna look out for you. Not anymore. What, you think he will?
Well,
Think about the conversation the prince is about to have with your little sire.
I'm sure that I'm sure that Eben will. I mean, he said he would.
Really?
Yes. Well, that was always what he implied. Yes.
You want to know what the prince did this this dusk?
I don't know. Do I?
A thin blood that he had never met before, that was perfectly courteous, and explained he didn't know anything. Didn't understand what he was, didn't even know what the big thing was, offered to leave immediately with 1,000 apologies. He had his head separated from his shoulders.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's horrible.
And that was within 5 minutes of the groveling, so it was pretty damn fresh. The only reason you guys are still here is because you're not thin bloods. Okay? And the prince, well, you licked enough ass. He's old. Not necessarily like most Ventrue that might be in the city, but he's old. And that puts him points above the others. I might joke about the guy, but you respect the man in charge because he's in charge for a fucking reason. Which means when he gives you a domain, he's already showing you a bit of faith. Small though it might be. Or he might be just setting you up for fail, but I can't imagine why. So when he gives you this domain, he's gonna expect something from you. And if you've already taken the knee, you're already in deep. Now, why am I telling you this? I'm bringing it back to the point. Because with everything like it is, your shit becomes my shit. Because I'm gonna have to be the one that helps that prissy bitch in there find you and deal with you. And I've got enough shit on my trouble. Now trust me, if I get pulled into this, it ain't gonna be quick. Because my patience, as I said, is pretty limited. Now I'm a pretty easygoing guy, as far as I'm concerned. Which means, don't test my patience, accept the advice that I'm offering, and be fucking friendly. Capiche?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you, that's very clear.
Right, ducklings, I got enough to get done. You've got this room for approximately half an hour before I got shit in here that I want doing and you will leave.
Right.
Right?
Half an hour.
Moses, grab the door. And he walks out.
See?
See what exactly?
The conversation we were having before about me having to first be with my clan, then be with
Oh,
a friend.
yes, yes.
It was more pleasant than I expected from a primogen.
Well, yeah, he doesn't have a chip on his shoulder. But still.
So that's probably the nicest one you're going to meet.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Right.
most likely. Who's the Malkavian? You don't even know who the Malkavian primogen is.
Sorry, no, I don't have any idea. I didn't even know there was one actually until.
Every clan should have a primogen. Not having a primogen in the Princess Council should be considered like an insult to that clan.
Right.
So who's the tree mare?
I haven't had a huge amount of contact with them myself. I've been more focused on my kind of particular kind of surroundings at any one time. As you can obviously see from that conversation, I don't get out much.
You know who the primogen of the Kangaroo is?
I would guess it's the sheriff. Well, the constable.
Yeah, that's the constable, yeah.
Yes, constable.
We call them sheriffs back in the US.
Oh, I'm sure you do. But we're in London.
Do you think Jacqueline would like a 5-point star?
I wouldn't presume to speak for someone I'd not met, but I wouldn't be my first gift.
I think she'll look cool with a 5-point star.
So perhaps one of you know then, if and I think we probably the Nosferatu Primogen?
Yes.
Primogen probably knows better than certainly I do, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say maybe that you do, that if the prince is going to do this, what does that actually mean? I mean, what do we have to do? He seemed to say that we have to impress the prince somehow. What does that? How does one do that? That seems very important to know.
Well, for a start, should we receive any communication whatsoever that requires our presence, we make ourselves present as soon as we possibly can. And frankly, it means that for the foreseeable future, we will be completely at his beck and call.
So, I mean, I understand that we have to do what the prince says. I understand that much. I just don't understand what does it mean about this domain business.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, as in...
Imagine we get us a domain, an area in the suburbs
yes?
for us to hunt. That is full of thin bloods. What do you think he's implying?
Kill thin bloods.
Get the thin bloods out
So...
and use your domain, but let's see how efficient you are.
Obviously that's a very specific thing with this thin blood situation. Are there any other rules? I mean, I know the tradition of domain, But I mean, are we responsible in some other way for what happens in that domain? Are we? If something bad happens in that domain, will we be dragged before the prince and have to explain what's
Well, it
happened?
depends. Are you breaking any of the other traditions?
Well, no. I mean, if he gives us that domain, are we then having to look after that domain? That's what I mean. I mean, are we responsible for what happens in that space?
Of course, but that's our hunting ground. That's what the
You would want to be, surely.
You should take care of your hunting ground. You need to learn how to hunt. I have a motorcycle. I'll show you around.
A motorcycle?
Yeah, you're scared of them?
No, I'm not
They're
scared
really
of them.
scary, and I have some arthritis in this elbow. So when
Well, then maybe we could use my
okay,
car.
then.
No, but I'm fine with. See, a car's more comfortable.
yeah, I also have a car. So speaking of which, why don't we take my car and go to my place? Plucky Jake's gonna be here in some minutes.
I think he implied it wouldn't be the best course of action.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome. Let's go. Let's dance.
What? I don't know.
It's okay. You can all be boring.
Well, we'll all be meeting up presumably tomorrow night when we find out our domain, and then if you really want to have some sort of a shindig, then you'll have your own domain presumably, and it'll be your space to do what you want.
As long as they give us the key. I hope that's not the first challenge. I suck at looking for keys. I lose my.
As long as it's not one room, building, room, whatever it is.
I'd have to have people. We need food. I hope it's close to my place. Why don't we come tomorrow and figure out?
Oh, that's strange, isn't it? Because I suppose we all have homes in the city that are going to be elsewhere.
Indeed.
We'll have to relocate.
Will we? Oh, is that how it works?
For ease of feeding, maybe?
Your own personal haven can be independent of your domain.
Yes, I
As long as you don't hunt around somewhere that isn't
It's
yours.
such a business moving, isn't it? I don't really. I can't be doing it all. That's horrible.
Especially trying to organise the trucks at night.
Well, yes.
It sucks if you have to commute too long for food every day, but
I don't. I mean, what Plucky Jake was saying about us being thrown out on our ear, essentially, I don't think that's quite true.
underwear.
I mean, as in that. I mean, he seems to be implying that that my sire isn't going to care anymore, but this can't be true because I mean.
Your sire has been absolved of responsibility of you.
Well, yes, I mean, but it's yes, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to still have contact. It doesn't mean that we're.
This is the true test of how much he cares about you. He doesn't have to anymore. So if you don't hear from him, maybe it's for the best.
No, I can't believe. No, I think if you knew him, you would know that. I mean, of course, I understand that.
I said that about my ex one time, and I was wrong.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm joking.
Oh.
All of them have been loved.
Maybe can we leave the jokes until tomorrow? I think tonight is not a night for jokes.
I think tonight we should all retire, then wait till tomorrow. Then
If we are coming back here tomorrow, if that's the way this works, Jim, might I suggest a more respectful evening wear approach? I mean, if you look at your surroundings. I know that's the height of rudeness. I'm very sorry. I just think that this sort of thing really matters to the people here, particularly the prince. The way we dress, that this is an official. You wouldn't. If you had an audience of the Queen, for example, you would dress up for it, and I feel that this is of a similar magnitude of.
I don't know that we can make that assumption.
I don't have a suit.
Well, we can solve that. We can absolutely solve that.
I mean, we have
Am I
clearly
including this
the
offer as well?
expert on fashion.
Oh no, that's not true. I'm not an expert. No, I'm
sorry. Here.
Oh,
You're seriously asking me?
But I mean, we could if that's the issue, we can. That's not a problem. Honestly, I think it would help. I think it would show. I think it will be good to show that we are trying to make the best impression we can. Don't you think?
Our Malkavian friend is extending the hand of friendship to you with this offer.
Basically, let's come tomorrow, but let's help out each other. Let's help each other out. Yes.
I just think we should do absolutely everything in our power to not annoy the prince any further than we have already. And yes.
Agreed.
It gets not my strongest suit, but and I extend my hand out to you.
Right.
I'll agree.
Oh, yes. Very impressive. Good.
Okay, I'm going home then. See you.
Well, it's been. Thank you
Don't
for.
fake it.
I'm not. I'm just. It's hard to put this evening into a proper adjective. That's all.
It's been interesting getting to meet you.
It has been a genuine pleasure to make your acquaintance. And I'm not lying.
Okay.
Oh,
Jim.
thank you.
I think we all know how important it is, since none of us have really met anyone outside our own circles before this evening, that you genuinely do need to make the best of these encounters. So
Yeah,
I
I'm
am
gonna
pleased
go.
to have met you.
I'm gonna go. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Jim.
I walk towards the door, turn and go. Give a nod to you two and to you. Sorry.
Jim, you're a gangrel. You're a survivor. Dress up, wear cologne, and shave. That's how you survive this one.
I'm going to close behind her.
Now, I'm gonna go and figure out if I can shave. Bye-bye.
Oh, bye-bye.
Goodbye.
I really can.
Yes, I'm sure.
And I leave. And just go home.
I've texted Will by this point to let her know that more or less ready to go.
Your phone begins ringing.
Excuse me.
That's fine.
Hello?
Provide more details.
Of course. Would you like this now, or would you prefer to meet in person and discuss privately?
Provide information that wouldn't be damaging to other ears.
Very well. The meeting was a success.
You are acknowledged,
Yes. Yes, I am.
and you have not offended the prince.
I do not believe so.
Okay.
I was not the only one tonight. There were 3 others.
Who?
A gangrel, Nosferatu, and Malkavian.
And you know these individuals beyond their names?
I know a little bit about their backgrounds, or what they've told me, and I know that we are to be granted domain, and we will have said domain by tomorrow night sometime, and we are most likely expecting to be granted domain to share rather than individually.
Observe them.
Of course. Well, I think my ride is waiting for me.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, I suppose then this will be good night. And-
Indeed. It truly was a pleasure to meet you.
Oh, thank you, and you too. Hopefully things will be a little bit smoother tomorrow.
Of course, I think it was a surprise for everyone.
Yes.
It's a lot of new information to process.
Oh, yes, quite.
But you'll be fine.
You think so?
Yes.
Good, thank you. Well, good night anyway.
Good
Yes.
night. Yes. See you tomorrow night.
Yes.
Bye. And I also head out the door.
There's a car waiting for you.
I assume I recognize the car. Yeah, I head towards the car.
I will probably go in search of Edmund, as everyone I will do.
Edmund is not waiting for you.
Outrageous.
It's all right.
But he said he would be back.
I told you about my ex and I.
So you return to your.
Yeah, I'll return home.
You return to the gallery.
Oh, yeah.
And once you enter into the gallery, you see Edmund just there, just staring at something. It's a place on the wall where your latest piece is, and he's just staring at it.
Edmund, I'm back.
How did it go?
Oh, it was so awful. But I think it went all right. But it was. I mean, he was very scary, very, very scary. But he has accepted me into the city, and I'm now recognised as a neonate, and we're going to find out about this domain. But they think it's not going to be just for me. It's going to be a domain I have to share with these other new kindred in the city. And some people have said very strange things. It's been a very confusing evening. But
Sit. We'll discuss. And he gestures, and now a familiar sight. One of the women in the gallery walk over with a glass of crimson liquid, and it's handed to you.
oh, thank you. Oh, that's so much better. Oh, it's so calming. Well, yes, he was the prince. Seemed very not very pleased to see us, if I'm quite honest. And he talked about the city being in a difficult time, and he asked us questions about the traditions that we had to answer, like a test at school. Yes. And then he asked us what we would do, why he should tolerate us in the city, and I was very much under the impression that if we didn't give a good answer, as you suggested, we would be in very big trouble. So in the end, we swore an oath to him. I think that was the right thing to do. I wasn't really sure. I panicked, if I'm honest.
He probably would have killed you otherwise. Now, what did you tell him? Why did you say you were here?
Well, he didn't ask. I don't think. Oh, it's such a blur. I don't think he asked why exactly. He just asked what we would do for him.
And what was your response?
Well, I said that I would try and make myself as useful to him as I could. And then we swore these oaths to him. There was another. There were four of us there, and one of them, he was dressed terribly. He didn't even kneel. He bowed, and then the prince got very cross, and then he bowed. But it was very tense. I thought something terrible was going to happen. And one of them, he's an American. He just used his phone without even saying excuse me. It's really, I mean, honestly, But they were quite nice. I mean, for all of that, they were quite nice. I met this plucky Jake. He was terrifying. I mean, you never told me they were that ugly. They were just, I was not, I mean, and he just appeared out of nowhere. It was awful. But he was quite friendly after that, and he said some terrible things about you.
Cannot trust what he says.
No?
No.
All right.
You cannot trust what any of them say.
No.
What did I tell you?
You did tell me. You told me, and yes. And Plucky Jake was very clear that he didn't care if we died or not. He just didn't want us to get in the way.
Why would he appreciate the loss? Why would that sewer rat care?
I'm so glad to be back. I can't tell you, Edmund. People said such things. I mean, they seem
Now
to.
do you believe what I say? I am the only one you can trust.
Yeah, of course I believe it. Of course I do.
I mean, what have I given you? I've given you a place to reside. I've given you a new home. I've given you tutelage. I have given you feeding.
I mean, everything. You've given me everything. It's true. But they seem to imply that.
This. And he points again to the picture. Your latest piece.
Yes?
Are you happy, Benjamin?
Am I happy with the piece?
In general.
Well, at the moment, I'm actually quite distressed. There seems to be a lot of things I don't really understand going on, and a lot of them seem, well, quite life-threatening, if I'm honest. And I sort of thought I was here to paint and, you know, and relax and not have to hunt thin bloods. And apparently I have to hunt. I don't know what exactly.
What is that?
I'll have a look at the picture.
It's your most recent piece. Are you sure you're happy, Benjamin?
I think it's very hard to concentrate when when there's that clenching in my stomach, you know.
Yet you provided all these for me before, and
well, sometimes these things communicate themselves into the picture. I mean, I'm very happy with life in general. Honestly, I am. It's just I'm a little scared at the moment. That's all. I think there's a lot I don't understand, and I change is always a bit, you know. I like to take things as they come. I mean, slowly and carefully, without surprises or shocks. Are you not happy with it? Do you want me to? No. No, it's probably not my best. I can do better. I can do better. I'll do better. I'll work on something. I'll work on something and well, something much better. I'm sure. It's just a phase. I think I was just a bit distressed. That's all.
he walks off. You return to the Chantry. And you are directed back into what is now a uncomfortably familiar room. And your sire is sat before the fireplace. He doesn't look round as you enter.
I take a few steps into the room and simply say, "Good evening."
Sit down, Katya.
I take the usual seat by the other side of the fire.
You see now that in his hands he's toying with. In one hand he has a familiar letter opener, and in the other one he has a parchment which is folded. He sets the parchment down. What did you tell the prince?
I told him that I would be loyal to him.
Did he make you question your loyalty here?
He did not. He simply asked for loyalty to himself.
And these ones you're to share a domain with, you trust them?
No.
I want their names and the names of their sire.
Of course.
And our work will begin immediately.
Naturally.
Now that you have the right to leave the Chantry. Katya. One other thing. When the prince asked you how long you'd been in the city, what did you say?
I told him the truth. I thought it was foolish to attempt to lie to him.
You did not consider it to be foolish to tell a prince that you had been residing in a city for 3 years without being acknowledged.
I was speaking under the assumption that were I to lie, it would instantly have been uncovered. I thought that might reflect worse on you.
I have a summons tomorrow night, Katya. Rest assured, the consequences of this summons will be shared. For your sake, pray it is only a tongue lashing.
Of course.
Get out of my sight.
And I stand and leave silently.
Where do you go?
I go into an alley for a bit, have a little think, then go to check on Sarah.
Okay.
How she's doing.
Check on Lucy from afar before going to bed. Normal stuff.
In both cases, they're fine. They're at this time of night. They're either turning in or they've already turned in. They're all right. The streets themselves are pretty vacant at this point. There are still people moving from place to place. There's still cars going up and down, but for London, it's pretty quiet. But given, for those of you that weren't locked away, recent events, both in Hyde Park and the increased amount of violence that's going on in the streets recently, particularly in the East End, there's less people around, even in the domain of Hyde Park and other areas of London. It's pretty quiet. I mean, in some ways, it's tranquil. It's nice to have isolation after the evening, but you're all acknowledged, whatever that may entail. You are now kindred of London, and once you have your domain, we'll see where that takes you.
I'm also hungry.
Oh, you're hungry.
Oh yeah,
I've been hungry this whole time.
You've got another.
You've got another night to rails check to make sure.
That's alright, I gotta go.
Wow.
Oh, that's gone dark quick.
Because he did say if we feed, he'll know.
Oh, but I am not hunting. It's different.
I think he did say
It will be considered poaching.
How did you guys find that?
Ah, it was great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Love that.
10
I had a terrible upbringing.
Oh my god.
You're a dreamer.
I think both our parents are mean.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the first pre-stream session of Blood on the Thames, a Vampire the Masquerade chronicle set in London, England. Now, since all of you are on level footing in terms of what you know and the situations that led up to this point, we are taking into account your preludes and your embraces, and the amount of time that you would have remained in your circumstances or situations up until this point. And privately, you would have spoken to your sires and deduced at what point you were going to be introduced to the prince. The prince had been notified of your existence, and at his convenience. Now, since.
And I think that is the end. Can you please, get it there? Okay, so it is done. I pushed the button and I managed to do it. And Peter is coming here. Sorry, we were doing tech in a weird way.
It's almost like we're not tech ghouls or something weird. I don't know. Could be. I don't know.
Yeah, but that was a very interesting episode. As you can see, it had a lot of stuff, interesting stuff. It had Plucky Jake, Edmund. It had the Coterie meeting Prince Emrys. So there was a lot of good stuff. And it did loop. For some reason, it did loop. I was waiting for it to stop, but I messed that up. So, thank you very much for joining us. Does anyone have any final questions about our chronicle, characters, plans, anything?
Oh, what was Ben's predator type? It was Sandman, because of course it was Simon's predator type.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That it was something that Moses and him would have in common when they would go out hunting.
Yeah.
They would just get together.
Sandman Bros.
Sandman. The Sand Bros. Anything else?
Yeah, and you can also ask Phil questions.
Oh yeah, Phil's still in the chat.
He resides in the chat.
I think Phil's predator type, Jim's predator type was.
Yeah, Phil is also a vampire. Did we not tell you that? He's
his predator type is
vampire.
Sinking Baker, but Phil's, Jim's predator type, I think it was alley cat. I do not know the predator type of Sarah. That is a question that I have for. Yes, Jim was alley cat. I don't know Sarah, but I mean she was really fresh.
Yeah.
So I had no idea.
Fresh off the line.
So Sarah was also an alley cat? Hunter? Phil?
I don't know. Yeah. Well, Phil will tell us. There is an important question, which is on it's an obvious question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how wonderful was Edmund? 10.
157.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
He was such a wonderful man.
Uber wonderful.
Yep. Sarah never developed a predator type, which makes sense. I mean, 4 days old, you don't have like a preference yet. 5 days.
Oh, there's another question from. Oh, there's one from Mitch, which we'll come to in a sec. But there's one from Hiddo, which is: do Simon and Ben have different character sheets? They do not. So something which I find interesting. Hopefully you will, and if not, I'm sorry. Is that there's one character sheet. It's Simon's character sheet, and the way it works is that you have what Simon was actually good at and what he did. And then when he started trying to be Benjamin, he has other skills. So one of the things that I always thought was amusing was Benjamin's painting skill wasn't that high. It was the skill of someone who'd been having a go obsessively for a couple of years rather than someone who'd spent a lifetime doing it. Whereas the original Benjamin Green was a really skilled artist, which is why he could never quite satisfy Edmund when he was doing the work. So yeah, and it's also why Benjamin actually had reasonable athletics and things like that, and he was reasonably capable at breaking into places and doing various things, but Benjamin just didn't know that because it was stuff that Simon could do.
I think there is a question for Phil. Why Sarah had blink? Oh wait, what was Sarah, by the way? Kaitif? No, Sarah was pretty much a gangrel.
Yeah,
she was sired by Alicia, as far as I know.
Evil Alicia, who we hate.
Titus made Sarah's character sheet. Clan was gangrel, and I was given celerity 3, but was given free reign on the choices of what she had.
Will you publish your sheets somewhere? Oh, interesting question.
Interesting.
I don't know. Maybe.
Should we?
I think we need to get Titus's seal of approval.
Yeah, that's the thing, because maybe either Titus. Yeah. Well, the thing is that either Titus or Peter,
maybe, that's the other thing. So,
if we're gonna keep working on this world, Titus already set the stage for Blood on the Thames. Peter is gonna follow with Blood on the Thames in Ox for sure. Even the one shot I ran in Blood on the Severn happens in the same world, so there is always the possibility of Ben and.
I mean, obviously, I've blurted a lot of Ben's secrets now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
they could always show up, but I don't know. Maybe
probably. I think if Titus is cool with it, then yes. Mitch had a really good question actually earlier, which was, how do we feel watching it back?
Oh, we had a blast.
That was good fun. Actually.
Things that I had completely forgotten.
Yeah.
Like awful, silly jokes Moses would make at Benjamin's expense. Yeah. Who had started that? Those are the ones which started the whole dynamic between the two characters, until Moses realized actually he's not scared for meeting the prince because he was meeting the prince. He is skittish by nature. That is his thing. So it was kind of interesting to have that. Terrified, to be honest. I'm not good at watching myself. Poor Phil. He did great. There were the whole kneeling thing. Oh my god.
Yeah, that session also was terrifying because like I didn't know Vampire that well, to be honest. So I wasn't familiar as a player with the traditions and all that. So when the prince was like, name the tradition, I was like, which one was it? But no, it was.
And I think, funnily enough, at some point, I think he mentioned over the Discord, would be like before the first session, it would be nice if you check that.
He sent me. I was literally getting in my car to drive to it, and I caught the message. And so I had a quick reminder.
I was on the train.
Yeah.
I never got the message. I got there, sat down, and then they had the question. I did everything, and at the end of the session, they went like, Yeah. We had a heads up. It's like, really? Well, I was lucky. I was asked like the easiest.
Yeah, you got the easy starter question.
I wasn't even aware that we were having.
I'm sorry. I've just read the comment that Phil had a cheat sheet.
Oh,
you monster! You monster. Very good. Very good.
But if I Mitch saying, imagine if Titus just killed one of your after all that marketing. Yeah, imagine having that the monologues and the still shots and Rachel doing the art, and then
then we'd have
Phil goes like, "Fuck your Emrys, I'm not kneeling down." And well, okay, second session, new characters. Let's go from the top.
But no, it was nice, and it was nice actually seeing the characters how they started out.
Yeah, it was really interesting also to see how us as a group have gelled together, and the dynamics have improved so much. How much our tech, like we have made do with what we've got, and changing locations and changing. Like we still have struggles, and we still have issues trying to get everything the way we would like to, because it's always a matter of having stuff working. Well, I mean, we have a little bit of a perfectionist in ourselves, every single one of us in the group. So that it's a good thing that it's a big group. It's 8 of us, and always we are looking for different things. So either the engagement with social media has to be just right, or the audio has to be just right, the video, the quality of the stream, the relationships amongst the players, everything we do. And it's, again, this is a labor of love, and I'm really, really happy to be and very proud to be a part of it.
Yeah, me too. Sorry, I don't know if you saw that comment. Yeah.
Which one of them? Many. I have
the Miracle Man 136.
That was a very different version of Moses that you were playing initially, right, Carlos? Yeah, Moses was one of the characters, just like Benjamin. We were having a conversation earlier. Benjamin and Moses had a lot of evolution. They felt very different from beginning to end, and they were mostly shaped by the environment. So Moses was this sort of playful Nosferatu who would, instead of hanging out in the warrens, would sit down behind a computer and work wonders for his clan without having to interact with any more people than he absolutely needed to. And it was his primogen, Alice, and Lucy. So basically he was like happy in his little bubble, and then he finds himself in this situation with the Thin Bloods and Tyler Adams and Jim and the Breaches of the Masquerade, and then the Sabbat, and especially after he was tortured by the Sabbat, he changed in the way he addressed problems. He started giving lip to people like Alicia, he was terrified of not half a book before, or a book before. So a lot of changes. But I feel Benjamin was the same.
Well, I think also from Benjamin's point of view, he just thought he was going to be a painter in the gallery, and then suddenly it was like, oh, you've got to hunt Thin Bloods, and it's all bonkers. Oh, yeah. And then suddenly we were encountering like explosions and corpses every other week. So by the end of the Chronicles, it was just like, yeah, okay, fine. Oh yeah, seven more corpses. That's fine. That's sort of standard practice.
Yeah, so, yeah. The characters, like by the end of the first book, Moses already felt slightly different. But by the very very beginning of the second book, the moment they kill Foggy,
that was a dark day.
Boom! That is a complete derail. His personality completely changes.
So why hunt Thin Bloods? Why can't you hug them instead? Well, the problem was, if you check out, I think it's episode 3?
2 or 3.
2 or 3. There's a crossroads point where we could have potentially become friends with the Thin Bloods.
I think it's 2.
But I think it's 3.
Really? Well,
anyway,
check it out. Okay, we have... Okay.
Who was right?
Favorite Ventru feeding flaw.
Now, this is interesting because I've been creating the various characters for Blood on the Thames, and something I didn't appreciate until recently when Mitch and I spent a lot of time doing this is how amazing the Ventru flaw is for shaping a character. Yeah. I just didn't get it, and now I get it, and it's amazing. So
it's the same with the Toreador.
Yes.
Disadvantage.
Yeah,
and you were mentioning like, how does the environment affect a particular Toreador? What does it say about that person's personality?
Yeah, and in the Ventrue's case, you know, if you really want to feed on a particular kind of person, that says something quite possibly deep or dark about you, and that's and that's going to affect. If you only ever feed on miserable people, or you only ever feed on people in a certain state or of a certain place,
or of a certain ethnicity or age category, a specific gender, or with a specific trade, a specific nationality as well. You can have people say, I only feed from people from, from Italy, my homeland, or whatever, which has brought historical problems for Ventrue, who always feed on their countrymen, and then their country no longer exists because Europe has had those many changes.
So Storenko was saying Ventrue feeding floors are difficult to come up with, and I agree, particularly when you're doing a city of them,
every single Ventrue that you think you're going to interact with.
Because weirdly, with some of the clans, you could, maybe you don't need to know as specifically, but I feel with them you do, because players might start trying to find out, studying them and doing things. So.
Yeah, and I think we were discussing flaws that some of those feeding flaws could be very dangerous. It's like people who have a lot of respect for the elderly and only feed on the elders or on elderly people. You are targeting a group that any of your potential feedings can kill them because they're frail. Yeah. But there are ones that are nasty. Those who should be punished, or sex workers, or targeting vulnerable groups or small groups or pariah groups of society. So that gives a lot of flavor.
Sorry, Story and Code and I are having a moment of it's hard. I didn't used to look this old, but now
Jan Peterson. Yeah, that's a great example brought up by Elfings. Jan Peterson from the lore. Wow.
Educate us.
Now, moving on to the next question. Does Peter have a sect technique for making character sheets for elders and other non-standard SBCs?
No. Well, I do. I kind of have. I have two versions of it, and there is the characters where I don't think they're necessarily going to be a key part in the Chronicle, but I just want to have some vague place. I want to know the basic details in the background. And then there are the characters that are going to feature, who basically I create like characters, go through all the steps. It's very laborious, but you kind of need to do it.
I love how Mitch says that he saw you age 10 years over the course of 12 hours while you were...
I know. When the Chronicle starts, there was this strange wizened creature, and you'll be like, who's that? It's Peter. Oh my god. It's like, he's only 22. Like, whoa,
yeah, no, you aged.
Yeah.
Gracefully, though.
Gracefully.
Yeah. So I think that we're going to call it a night. It's almost 10 p.m. If anyone has a final hurrah,
if you've got a burning question, you've got to ask.
Something you really... It is... Actually, I'm gonna up the stakes. I will answer any question about Moses. Any question. I will also answer any question about Benjamin. I mean, I will make up the answer, but I will answer it.
Yeah. Oh.
What will you have for breakfast tomorrow? That is a good question.
I suspect I will be having porridge. Oh, thank you, Hilda. Yes, I do.
Oh, yeah,
this is a new T-shirt I just got. Oh, I've got it this way.
He put it on specifically for the stream. Forbidden Love. I told him that actually it is not only forbidden but also implausible. T-Rex are closer to us humans 65 million years ago than they are to Triceratops 130 million years prior to that. They are geologically non-compatible in the dinosaur scale. Geeky moment down.
Are you and Phil coming to BristolCon next month? Because I'm going to BristolCon.
Oh, yes, I am. I was telling Peter, I am going to BristolCon. Forbidden Love is a Banging Darkness song, though. It's a Banging Darkness?
Yeah,
Oh,
the darkness.
Okay. No, yeah.
street.
I thought the band name was Banging Darkness.
Banging Darkness.
I mean, they were talking about popping in the store.
Yeah.
So yeah, cute. Well, thank you very much for joining us for this special episode 0 rebroadcast. This is. Oh.
There might be time for one.
Okay, a big question. Is there anything Moses wouldn't trade for Lucy's life?
Fagin.
Nothing.
Benjamin.
Nothing. Like, for Lucy's life? No, nothing. I mean, he would be quite at odds if it were Alice. And I think Alice would be in the same boat as throwing her life in to save Lucy. So, nothing.
Oh, okay. If you had to, how would you want your characters to die?
Sacrificing themselves for the people they loved. Alice or Lucy. Maybe Benjamin. No, definitely Benjamin.
There you go. I don't know.
It is not. Edmund is the most wonderful man, but I think a conversation between Edmund and Lucy the universe would explode.
Oh my god, I think it would also be awful.
It would be like dividing by 0.
I think, how would I want Benjamin to die? I don't know, actually. I mean, maybe maybe trying to diabolise Anatolia. I don't know. Maybe at the hands of Fagin.
How can you try and diabolise a guy who's a master of diablerie?
Maybe Fagin should have the death blow. Fagin. Yeah.
Yes, Sarah's death was so sad, but we had a conversation with Phil about that. It was the one that felt the most fitting. I mean, Sarah's journey was sort of an exploration of this is not for everyone. Like, being kindred, being embraced, acknowledging the death of your life, like who you were is done. And a lot of kindred struggle at the beginning, but then they get used to it. Sarah is the prime example of someone who could not cope with on life from the get-go, and Phil exploring that until a final natural conclusion in which she would say, "Screw it, I'm done with this," was really interesting and very compelling, very engaging. And I think
that might be.
Edmundsy. That's a word.
Edmunds.
Yeah, it's like Edmund and Lucy. Ludmund. Loosemund. Okay, that's gonna be it for us. Thank you very much for joining us. Remember to tune in on the 7th of October for the first episode that will most likely have the box ticked.
It will.
Of Blood on the Thames, a Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle set in Oxfordshire, England, where I play.
Yeah, although you're doing such a good job of the intro.
I just had to practice it a lot. Okay, thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys on the road. Bye.